So what are you afraid of? Those feelings are made up. Get in the game, your moment of fame, show them what you made of. It's time that we stand up. It's time that we man up. For anyone asking who is the best, we putting our hands up. My time, nothing can keep me from reaching the top. This time, like the last time, I'm moving so fast, I'm ready to rise. I'm ready to throw down, it's time for the showdown. I'm ready to rise, don't be surprised, I'll take on the world now. My time, none of you people can tell me to stop. Lower the lights down, hand over my crown, hand over my heart. I do this for my town, I do this for my crowd. So turn me up real loud. My time, none of you people can tell me to stop. My time, none of you people can tell me to stop. My town, my crown, we know what it takes to be reaching the top. We're reaching the top, we're reaching the top. We know what it takes to be reaching the top. My time, none of you people can tell me to stop. My town, my crown, we know what it takes to be reaching the top. We're reaching the top, we're reaching the top. We know what it takes to be reaching the top. Lower the lights down, hand over my crown, hand over my heart. I do this for my town, I do this for my crowd. So turn me up real loud. My time, none of you people can tell me to stop. Turning the track up, I'm never going back down. Hand over my heart, I do this for my town, I do this for my crowd. So turn me up real loud. My time, none of you people can tell me to stop. I'm ready to do it, I can't be afraid now. Put me on the stage now, I'm ready to rage now. I feel like an animal stuck in a cage and I'm ready to break out. My time, none of you people can tell me to stop. This time, like the last time, you better get ready to race to the top. I'm ready to do this, show you what the truth is. I step on the field, it's time to get real, I'm feeling so ruthless. My time, none of you people can tell me to stop. Lower the lights down, hand over my crown, hand over my heart. I do this for my town, I do this for my crowd. So turn me up real loud. My time, none of you people can tell me to stop. Yeah. So what are you afraid of? Those feelings are made up. Get in the game, your moment of fame, show them what you made of. It's time that we stand up, it's time that we man up. For anyone asking who is the best, we putting our hands up. My time, nothing can keep me from reaching the top. This time, like the last time, I'm moving so fast, I'm ready to rise. I'm ready to throw down, it's time for the showdown. I'm ready to rise, don't be surprised, I'll take on the world now. My time, none of you people can tell me to stop. Lower the lights down, hand over my crown, hand over my heart. I do this for my town, I do this for my crowd. So turn me up real loud. My time, none of you people can tell me to stop. My time, none of you people can tell me to stop. My town, my crown, we know what it it takes to be reaching the top. We're reaching the top. We're reaching the top. We know what it takes to be reaching the top. My time, my time. None of you people can tell me to stop. My town, my crown. We know what it takes to be reaching the top. We're reaching the top. We're reaching the top. We know what it takes to be reaching the top. Lower the lights down. Hand over my crown. Hand over my heart. I do this for my town. I do this for my crowd. So turn me up real loud. My time, my time. None of you people can tell me to stop. Turning the track up. I'm never going back down. Hand over my heart. I do this for my town. I do this for my crowd. So turn me up real loud. My time, my time. None of you people can tell me to stop. Yeah. I'm ready to play now. Put me in the game now. I came here to prove it. I'm ready to do it. I can't be afraid now. Put me on the stage now. I'm ready to rage now. I feel like an animal stuck in a cage and I'm ready to break out. My time, my time. None of you people can tell me to stop. This time, like the last time, you better get ready to race to the top. I'm ready to do this. Show you what the truth is. I step on the field, it's time to get real. I'm feeling so ruthless. My time, my time. None of you people can tell me to stop. Lower the lights down. Hand over my crown. Hand over my heart. I do this for my town. I do this for my crowd. So turn me up real loud. My time, my time. None of you people can tell me to stop. Yeah. So what are you afraid of? Those feelings are made up. Get in the game, your moment of fame. Show them what you made of. It's time that we stand up. It's time that we man up. For anyone asking who is the best, we putting our hands up. My time, my time. Nothing can keep me from reaching the top. This time, like the last time, I'm moving so fast, I'm ready to rise. I'm ready to throw down. It's time for the showdown. I'm ready to rise. Don't be surprised, I'll take on the world now. My time, my time. None of you people can tell me to stop. Lower the lights down. Hand over my crown. Hand over my heart. I do this for my town. I do this for my crowd. So turn me up real loud. My time, my time. None of you people can tell me to stop. My time, my time. None of you people can tell me to stop. My town, my crown. We know what it takes to be reaching the top. We're reaching the top. We're reaching the top. We know what it takes to be reaching the top. My time, my time. None of you people can tell me to stop. My town, my crown. We know what it takes to be reaching the top. We're reaching the top. We're reaching the top. We know what it takes to be reaching the top. Lower the lights down. Hand over my crown. Hand over my heart. I do this for my town. I do this for my crowd. So turn me up real loud. My time, my time. None of you people can tell me to stop. Turning the track up. I'm never going back down. Hand over my heart. I do this for my town. I do this for my crowd. So turn me up real loud. My time, my time. None of you people can tell me to stop. Yeah. I'm ready to play now. Put me in the game now. I came here to prove it. I'm ready.
Good evening, race fans, and welcome to Podium eSports' coverage of the All-American eSports 400, live tonight from the virtual Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway in the heart of Nashville, Tennessee. I'm Justin Prince. Alongside the booth tonight is Blake McCandless, and our producer Ryan Bauer is punching the buttons down in the virtual production trailer powered by Top Flight Computers. Thank you for tuning in, whether you're watching on Facebook, iRacing Live, the YouTube portal, Twitch, or Twitter, as tonight It's the last of 3 nights of action-packed racing here at this historic speedway. It's the 250 lapper for the super late models. Just moments away from action tonight here, Blake. It's been 2 straight days prior to this of intense racing, and all capitulates and finishes up tonight.
It does, and you know, the same anticipation that you would feel over the race weekend that you'll get to experience next week at the Nashville Fairgrounds has been building up both of these last 2 nights. Again, it's going to cultivate, and I think is what is going to be the best racing that we see all weekend. We had an incredible finish of the Pro Late Models last night. Seemed to race really well here, and I just can't wait to see what these guys are able to do over 250 laps and all the different factors that are going to come into play. Really excited to get things going and see who's able to come out on top.
It's going to be an exciting one, I think, tonight. Let's take a look at your Google Earth, shall we, for tonight's action here at the virtual Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway. Once again, in Nashville, Tennessee, this facility opened in 1958. It has been home to many historic drivers and historic names, including the Waltrips and many more throughout its history. 0.596 miles, the distance around here, just under 1 kilometer, with 18 degrees of banking around the turns, with 3 degrees down the straightaways. Drivers will be taking place at this track on October 31st in Sim for what's expected to be a competitive one here tonight. And Blake, for how this track will drive tonight, how do you feel it will be when these drivers get up to speed, expecting drivers to roll once it gets to evening?
And well, that's going to change throughout the evening, Justin. We saw last night, in particular in the Pro Late Models, it was obviously harder to pass on the inside, especially we even got the super trucks running. And but as those Pro Late Models came in and the speed picked up, you could see that groove start to widen out, start to go to the middle of the top side of the racetrack just a little bit. And I think now you take all the weight out of these super late models that we had to match the Pro Late Model class that would be replicated in real life. And I think that's going to allow this groove to continue to move on up. You carry more speed in the corners. You're going to see perhaps even that third lane come into play. And even like last night, we were talking about the marbles building up near the top side of the racetrack, building up on the apron. Well, all of that is going to be magnified tonight, because not only do we have 150 laps, we're going the full 250 tonight. So all those changes that, again, you would typically see in real life, you're going to see tonight in iRacing. And it's why, again, I'm so excited to get things going.
And one of the things crossing over from that side via CRA rules and via what will take place for the real world All-American 400 is 2 sets of tires available. There will be competition cautions after 50 green flag laps, where drivers will be able to pit, meaning if there's a caution for incidents tonight, drivers will not be able to come down unless it is clarified on radio to the drivers that for tonight's action, to say the very least here, Blake. It's going to also make things interesting to see when drivers elect to use those tires.
True, that's going to come into play. Obviously 150 laps last night, but they were not allowed to come down pit road and get tires. With the addition of the competition yellows, as you mentioned, it's going to be a lot about timing, thinking things through ahead, and knowing exactly when the right time to come and take your tires is, when and how well are you going to be able to save it, because obviously you and I both know that the fall off over a long period of time is going to be significant. So do you risk the track position to try and gain some of that, or risk going a lap down when you're trying to save a set of tires? All of that is going to be in play for all these drivers.
Right now, you're seeing some of your drivers having a bit of fun currently during the drivers' meeting. 7 drivers, though, of note, did qualify their way in through the LCQ earlier on tonight. Alex McCollum, Carson Hocevar, Robbie Keneally, Travis Pryor, along with the youngster from Virginia and Brian Pembleton, also being joined by Trevor Edwards and Joseph McWhorter. Those drivers were either not able to make it on speed in qualifying or registered earlier this morning per real world regulations for this racetrack. Some drivers can make it to this facility in the closing stages of the morning and compete, as things may happen during testing or during preparation. Some of the other competitors to keep an eye on expect to be front runners. Trayden Lapsevich, who has dominated much of the weekend. He's won 4 of the 6 feature races so far throughout this event. Devin Morgan, one of the World Championship competitors from the iRacing World of Outlaws Morning Building's Late Model World Championship, expected to be quick, also known for his short track skills in the pavements. And don't forget about drivers who are expected to be the key drivers to keep an eye on, like Ryan Matthews, like Zach Nichols, and the drivers who came up just short, like Daniel Roper and a few others who will be looking to try and see what they can do tonight.
I think so. I think the pro late model race that we ran last night, it has a lot of these players, and these guys really got to come out and show what they would do over a long run, being able to save their tires. They'll take all that and see if they can carry it through to this race. Of course, again, much faster lap times in these super lates that they're going to be carrying. So being able to conserve your tires and carry that speed through the center of the corner are going to be more critical now, obviously, than it had been previously. And Justin, that's one thing that through running these events, we've had a lot of the same guys who have really kind of run the ringer with us this weekend, so to speak. They've run in just about every single race, whether it's on the quarter mile or obviously the track that we're running on tonight. So the experience level, especially with all the practice, Justin, you talk about the months of kind of preparation and lead up to this thing. Obviously in the last few days it's heightened, but the amount of practice time, you typically don't see a lot of these drivers coming out early part of the day and putting in several hours of practice, but that has been the case today. And even with a couple of the late additions, and Justin, that's even worth or of note that just like real life, you have the opportunity to come and run the LCQ without having partaken in any of the qualifying events on what would have been Saturday night. So allowing the door to be open, and obviously last night's events, Justin, I think it attracted a couple of drivers to come and join us tonight because of what they saw.
Indeed. And several of these organizations have been taking part throughout this weekend with some impressive runs as these drivers are finishing up the race meeting for tonight. Drivers will now make their way towards the front stretch for tonight's festivities. We'll be speaking with a few of the drivers before the opening ceremonies for tonight's action. Who are some of the competitors you're keeping on the most, in your opinion, for this one here, Blake?
Well, the drivers we start to see wheeling themselves out there right now. Obviously, we see Dawson Fletcher, who's making his way onto the racetrack right now. And when we talked to him last night, obviously experienced some issues in the pro late model race, but was awfully fast and one of the top competitors, obviously, on the pole for tonight. So I don't think you can go too wrong with looking right at this 71 Toyota to see what he's able to do.
See him rolling on the front stretch. Everybody will roll for their starting positions for later on this evening. And in the rear row for the All-American 400, drivers take part in a 45-minute autograph session along this front stretch with the fans. And that's one of the experiences when you go to a short track, is getting to talk to and interact with the drivers. This is one of those types of facilities where that usually does happen at a facility such as this, for an event such as this.
And it's really cool, and even seeing that again with everything that's happened here in 2020 and just how it's kind of thrown everything for a loop. It's been a topsy-turvy year for everybody, regardless of whether you're a race fan or not. Everybody has been kind of touched by the coronavirus and how it's kind of changed the way we've lived over the last half year or so. So being able to come out and even recreate this virtually, obviously you're going to see it next weekend as well at the Nashville Fairgrounds, but even taking that extra step to see what iRacing can provide and recreate that here will be awfully special. And we're continuing to see the drivers roll one by one onto the front straightaway in their qualifying order, and we'll get to partake in a neat little virtual event tonight.
Indeed. And of course, there's a lot of history. We've mentioned it. We're Darrell Waltrip, a two-time track champion here. Sterling Marlin is a three-time track champion, still races here. Lon, his dad, Cuckoo Martin, was a four-time track champion. Bobby Hamilton was a two-time track champion here, plus a two-time champion in lower divisions. Clay Grainfield, who races in the NASCAR Gandor Outdoors Truck Series, competes at this facility. Won here twice last year. And don't forget about the Rookie of the Year here at the track in 1996, Casey Atwood, and the many others who compete here, including some of your drivers here tonight who have been at this facility in the past and have driven or have had family members take part in the All-American 400 in real world. For a lot of these competitors, this is a significant event, to say the very least.
Of course, and you see even the respect to it from these simulated drivers that obviously come from all corners of the globe, and that's one of the great things about being on iRacing is kind of the accessibility of everything, to be able to experience this racetrack without even having been there in real life. Obviously, you have your mix in the field of drivers who, like you said, have been a part of things here for quite a while, but there's a lot of drivers here who may not have even visited the Nashville Fairgrounds before, and they get the opportunity to virtually recreate the experience, not only to drive on this racetrack, but to even kind of replicate everything that's pretty unique and going on here right now. So again, as they continue to file through, I think this is one of the reasons, Justin, that you've heard many of the cries that you want to see not only this event here next week, but a lot of talk around this racetrack and obviously getting it more involved and kind of the NASCAR scene of things as well. And again, it's just such a historic place, such a fun track to drive. As a driver's racetrack, if there ever was one. And of course, you still had balanced with kind of that local short track feel. It's one of the reasons that this is such a great facility, prime location in the Music City. Everything about it just makes this a really, really special event for everybody.
Still drivers sorting themselves out for the front straightaway to make sure they don't tap the wall or stay too far from the wall for these competitors. Some of the various organizations taking part in this event. Some of the Bobby Dale and Legacy eSports machines, which started its short track division just a few months ago, looking to try and make a statement tonight. Some of the Amica eSports machines. Some of the first times we'll see that organization representing the new partnership with HPM Motorsports for starting tonight. You also have some of the 09 Motorsports machines who have been quick throughout the week, including your winner last night's race after fuel mileage came to play, Dylan Bates. You also have the various organizations like Driven Motorsports, who have had several sponsored drivers compete throughout the weekend. There are several major groups of short track teams who have made it to this facility.
There are, and it's brought out the best in, like you said, real life drivers who have competed here, and as well as the top teams that are very competitive on the oval side here throughout the iRacing service. You mentioned not only just short track teams, but a lot of teams that are looking to put some of the most competitive sim racers in the world into the top echelons and climbing the iRacing ladder, so to speak. So this is just part of it, and being able to attract this and be able to compete in this event. Again, Justin, this track, we mentioned it a couple of times, a relatively new addition to the iRacing service. A lot of drivers have driven it and loved it, but being able to kind of take an event and put it in this magnitude, as well as have it be kind of the first big showcase on the service for this track, I think it kind of speaks volumes about what this means and kind of merging the real world with the virtual world here at the Nashville Fairgrounds.
Again, expected grid size 28 locked themselves in to the main race, expecting up to 33 drivers to the green flag tonight in total. Once things get rolling, give or take. Drivers just about all lined up down the front stretch for this one, for what's expected to be an historic night here on iRacing. Your thoughts before we get the chance to speak to these drivers here, Blake?
Well, I think, like I said earlier, Justin, I'm just ready to get things amped up. I know any of these pre-race ceremonies, it doesn't help with matters, but it's able to even build the excitement here for an iRacing event. Again, you typically don't see the drivers come and park on the front straightaway like this for a virtual event, but it's just building up that excitement, building up the anticipation. I'm looking forward to it. As much as we have to do it, I got to be honest, I'm just waiting for the drop of the green flag. I'm itching to get this race started.
Indeed. Great facility. Ready to host today's racing action. I'd like to take the time to remind you that the 36th All-American 400 takes place this upcoming weekend. For tickets to the 36th running of the All-American 400 at Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway, log on to NashvilleFairgroundsSpeedway.racing. Search for Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway on Facebook, and follow them on Twitter at Race Fairgrounds today, October 30th to November the 1st. Now, at this point, what, as a driver for an event such as this, what usually goes through your mind?
Well, obviously, all the prep work that you do, all the practice that you put in, everything with driving, learning, taking everything you've learned over the last couple of weeks. I think that you just have to find a way to apply it right here.
Indeed. We talked about this a little bit a while ago. The 71 machine of Dawson Fletcher will start on the pole today. He speaks with us once again. Dawson, now it's the night to end all nights. A big night for you. How are you feeling in that race car right now?
I don't know yet. I think if everyone decides they want to slow down and save tires, I think it's going to be pretty easy and just kind of ride around, at least up front, maybe at the pole, and kind of pace everyone, get in line, follow each other. But most likely that's not going to happen. So probably going to have to wave a couple cars off, going to be taking it easy. So we'll see what happens, but it'd be great if all these guys would pace themselves with me and we all line up and just roll around the racetrack. But there's going to be some people that want to go, so we'll see.
The interesting part of this tonight went through from you guys for race control, of course. 2 sets of tires, but following the same procedures as CRA and for the Real World All-American 400, cannot pit unless there's a competition yellow. How does that factor in as a driver for your strategy tonight?
It makes it a little bit more predictable, because if we get a caution lap 23 or 75 is a better example, and we know we have another 50 laps at minimum before we can get more, then I'll take it down pit run and take them then. But it helps a little bit because when you're going to have a caution. It can only go further than that, so it makes it a little bit more predictable, but I don't know yet.
Now, overall, what's kind of been the feelings like, whether it's been from your family, your friends, railroad team members, for this event tonight, knowing the significance of this event, and of course, this being partial preview to what could happen next weekend?
Yeah, it's I told my mom about it, and there's some friends watching that came to Nashville with us and helped us out actually to run. And I've been here in the pro car, and we want to come here in the super, so we're working on it. But hopefully if I do good tonight, then I really want to go. So we'll see.
Now, before we let you get to the car, anything else you'd like to add that you'd like the fans to know for this race tonight?
It's going to be interesting, and we'll see who wants to save tires and who doesn't.
Good luck tonight. We'll let you get back to your preparation in that car.
Thank you.
Dawson Fletcher will start on the pole this evening for what's expected to be a huge race for him and his organization. One of the drivers who qualified their way in from the LCQ was Alex McCollum. In fact, he won the LCQ. His prize, starting deep in the late 20s, he's with Lake McCandless.
And Alex, excited to be caught up with you here, and obviously kind of a late entry into this thing. You run the LCQ, you get in. What kind of show are you going to put on for these fans as you try to run up through this field?
Gonna try to put a good on show. Be a long race. Gonna have to be patient, keep the nose clean, but I think we have a good car to get up to the front.
When you talk about patience, we've heard even from Dawson right there, tire management is going to become such a factor tonight. Obviously, you have some competition yellows. You have some sets sitting on pit road. What's kind of your thinking about that heading into this?
Just gonna see how the race plays out. If we get a lot of yellows, not sure what we're going to do. But just going to discuss it with my team, Dylan Bates and Daniel Pope, so we'll see how that goes.
All right, Alex. Well, again, congratulations on getting yourself in this race. I'll hand you the mic one more time. Anybody want to give a shout out here before we kind of get things going?
Thanks to 09, try to get it done in the 09 house car tonight. It was a late entry, but I think we have a pretty good shot. Just have to keep the nose clean.
Absolutely, Alex. Well, we'll go let you do that. Get ready, and obviously, good luck tonight. We hope to see you near the end of this thing.
Thank you.
That is Alex McCollum. He'll start from deep in the field tonight after winning the LCQ. Now, it's time to head off trackside. It's time for your national anthem performed from Richfield, North Carolina. It's Rebecca Kimmery.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
It's time to head to your starting command. From the grid, it's Craig Arvanitis.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the All-American eSports 400 presented by Southeastern eSports Association at Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway. My name is Craig Arvanitis, driver of the number 43 STP Super Late model. And with that being said, drivers, start your engines.
The engines are firing up, and we're all set to go racing. From the virtual Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway, it's time to take a look at the Team 126 Racing starting grid. On the pole tonight, it'll be Dawson Fletcher from Georgia. He'll start alongside one of your drivers from the Road to Pro Series this season, Zach Nichols. Tradon Lapsevich will start from Row 2 alongside Ryan Matthews, two of the potential favorites for tonight. Austin Johnson will round out the top 5 with Brad Wright, who was in contention for the win for the Pro Late Models card, will start in P6. Jaden Fritaki starts in 7th. Rounding out your top 8 positions is Dalton Collins. Sam Kane will start in 9th, with Oliver Cordell rounding out your top 10 blank.
Dylan Bates will roll off from the 11th position. It'll be Tommy Kelly who starts in 12th. Inside of row number 7 goes to Jonathan Smith. And to his outside will be Michael Murray in the 114 machine. Josh Cossack, he's been involved all weekend long, as well as Jake Sylvia. They'll start 15th and 16th. 17th goes to Jimmy Gawker. 18th to Devin Morgan. 19th goes to Jackson Lewis. And rounding out the top 20 will be Brandon Hughes.
Reason for all positions shuffling up one is Daniel Roper did not make it to the green flag, so in turn 21st spot officially is Hughes, but that moves up to Arvanitis. Doria starts off Alon in 22nd. Eddie alongside Pete Poeli will round out the top 24. Brandon Hughes rounding out the top 26 positions. Carson Hagan, Alex McCollum, Carson Hosevar, Robbie Keneally, Travis Pryor, Landon Pembleton, Trevor Edwards, Joseph McWhorter. All will round out your grid, and in race control tonight, it'll be Daryl Palmore and William Hale. Again, let's take a look at your details for tonight in Simtai, approaching 3 p.m. here at this just more than a half-mile track, 18 degrees of baking in the corners here on October 31st, 2020 in iRacing Day. Distance 250 laps, 141 miles, 228 kilometers here at this facility. Overall, track temp 78 degrees is the air temp. With the track temp rather, with the air temp 75 degrees, partly cloudy skies, windy 7 miles per hour. As these drivers get ready to go racing, Blake, your quick final thoughts.
It'll be interesting to see. Obviously, the track temperature much cooler than what we were running last night in the pro late models. Obviously, take all the weight off. You're running much faster lap times than what we saw yesterday. Going to be interesting to see who can adjust to it well. And obviously, this is a long one too, Justin. You got to take care of your equipment. You can't win it in the first half of the race. You can't even win it until lap 250. So being there at the end in a race that's this long is going to be key. So we'll have to see. But I'm ready for it and ready to see these guys do some action.
Indeed. Drivers will get to warm up their tires and get prepared here at the moment. Expect it to be going to be an exciting race today. Who are the drivers you're keeping your eye on the most now in this one?
Well, I think we kind of have to go along with what we were talking about pre-race. A lot of our top qualifiers, people that have experienced this weekend and have been a part of the action all night long. And we got to talk to some of our new additions to this race. Alex McCollum is one of them. I think he's a favorite to kind of run up through this field. Obviously, is deep and top on the ladder in iRacing, driver in the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing series. So there's just a handful of experience of real life and sim throughout the weekend. And, I feel like it would favor the sim guys. But again, long race tonight. We've seen these sim drivers be awfully aggressive early on here. So we'll just have to see who's got the wits to be able to put themselves in a position at the end to have a shot to win this thing.
We'll turn the lights back on and get things going in just a moment or so. Who are the drivers overall who feel you can pull off an upset, in your opinion, as well?
As far as drivers who can pull that upset, I think Josh Kosick has to be somebody that you would look at as a favorite. Has been a part of the action all evening long. He had an opportunity late last night, the pro late models, to run up front and be a part of things. So I think he's somebody who can obviously get it done. Obviously, Dylan Bates, he was your winner in the pro late models last night. I wouldn't say he was absolutely the fastest car on the grid, but again, it's just about putting yourself in the right position at the right time to get things done. So I think it's just some of those guys who have been running all weekend long. They've just had the lap counts on the track that I think is necessary. That they know how this race is going to kind of ebb and flow throughout. And of course, just add 100 laps to that. And many of those drivers that were in the pro late models, it's pretty much the same thing upcoming here.
The 36 All-American 400, once again to remind you, takes place here at this facility this upcoming weekend from October 30th to November the 1st. For tickets to the 36th running of the All-American 400 at Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway, log on to NashvilleFairgroundsSpeedway.racing. Search Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway on Facebook and follow on Twitter at Race Fairgrounds tonight. Drivers still getting sorted out and warmed up for tonight's action here. And you have to wonder how aggressive this start is going to be once we get rolling here. With some of these drivers, you have many fast drivers in the back of the field for this one.
Obviously, and the one thing I don't think that's helping, Justin, is we're trying to sort out some timing and scoring issues here in the sim to try to get everybody to where they can restart in the position that they're supposed to. That's not going to make anybody any less aggressive. Obviously, even as a driver, you try to get through these things. Obviously, sometimes they happen and you have to work through them. That doesn't make you any more or any less patient. If anything, your patience starts to wear very thin by the end of this thing. So I think the kind of calmness that we were anticipating, we talked to a couple drivers pre-race, and that's what they were expecting with how long this race was. The anticipation that there are some competition cautions that are eventually going to come, that we were thinking of easing things up a little bit, but the one way you turn up the temperature is having to deal with something like this that may be a little out of your control, and they're still trying to sort things out. A lot of commotion, a lot of chaos. It's just going to throw something in the mix here that's pretty crazy. So we'll see if we can get things sorted out and have everybody kind of get in the position they're supposed to be to drop the green flag on this thing.
Things gonna still get sorted here for these drivers. It's again 33 drivers on your starting grid for tonight's race for the All-American eSports 400. We'll take you side by side as things continue to get sorted. You're watching Podium eSports for the virtual Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway. Stick around.
We are back at North Wilkesboro, North Carolina, where the field is rolling out for the start of today's 400-lap race on this 0.625-mile racetrack. And just as the field totals all around turn number 4, the sunshine peeks through, helping warm things here. Oh, it leads him down. Benny Parsons on the outside. The green flag flies, and the first Union 400 Winston Cup race from North Wilkesboro is underway. Everybody racing through turn number 1 and 2 as Bill Elliott has the lead, and Dale Earnhardt has jumped into second position, followed by Benny Parsons and Bobby Allison. Well, here we go. It's just about to go away. Big bump coming out of turn 4. Earnhardt gets the lead. We had just heard from our spotters that Neil Buck. Dale Earnhardt is on his last lap. This will be his 24th career win. Dale Earnhardt wins the first Union 400 at North Wilkesboro.
They're all sorted out. Things are now sorted out for the All-American eSports 400 as we're ready to go racing. Super late model racing all set to go on Podium eSports. Dawson Fletcher and Zach Nichols on the front row. Green flag is out. We're underway for the All-American eSports 400. And a clean start to the super late model race tonight as Dawson Fletcher single file up to the front. Zach Nichols, Trayton Lapsevich, Ryan Matthews, Austin Johnson, your top 5 early, Blake.
Well, and it looks like Fletcher able to get a nice jump off of that restart. And now we see that battle starting to brew back in the pack. Right now, Zach Nichols there on the outside, not able to get the best of Lapsevich now, who goes to the bottom side, 32. A little bit better turn in. Looks like he's going to have that second position. He's nearly looking for the lead as he almost makes contact with Fletcher. They exit off at turn 2, and Lapsevich actually going to go by pretty easy. Fletcher going to kind of surrender it here. Doesn't look like he's going to put up much of a fight. Tire saving at the forefront of Fletcher's mind. We know we talked to him about it early in the race, and he is falling back quickly. Fletcher is. He's already back to 4th, back to 3rd.
He talked about this last night, wanting to take this race very patient, especially in the early going. Let the drivers fight up at the front early on, and that's what he's done. P3 right now. Bit of a slide behind him. Sam Kane loose in 1 and 2. Just saved it right across the front nose of Devin Morgan.
Oh, we're looking 3 wide, and what a job that Sam King did to wheel that race car to where he did not crash in front of a good portion of this field. So King going to be able to recover. He gets back to 10th spot, and right now directly in front of him, another side-by-side battle as it looks like Krataki is going to be able to hold off Devin Morgan.
Some great scrapping here as we take a look at the youngster here. Currently up inside the 8th position. Big run to the bottom side. Just not able to set it in. Meanwhile, up towards the front, Zach Nichols is taking away P3. Dawson Fletcher is open up the bottom. Johnson moving around the bottom of the racetrack with Dalton Collins moving fourth. Brad Wright wanting to use the middle line, though, early on.
Well, and Johnson was awfully aggressive last night. We saw him able to roll that bottom, had a lot of short run speed, and was more than willing to use the bumper. We'll have to see how he handles it here. Good battle going right here. You see shutting the door right on the 112 was Brad Wright, who had the potential, Justin, to win last night in the pro late model race. Got taken out late in the going, and he saves it. What a job he does right there. It looks like Devin Morgan rolled through on the bottom, thought the door was open. Brad Wright closed it quickly, and oh man, was that a interesting moment for Brad Wright, but a nice job there. He's able to correct that car before he gets into the fence and avoids any damage, but a nice save there for Brad Wright. It'll cost him a couple of spots.
Dampers flaring, but up towards the front. Where did we see this before? Well, last night we did. Trey Lapsevich, Ryan Matthews 1-2, bumper to bumper for much of this run so far. And these two were the fastest drivers in the field before fuel mileage came to play for that 150-lap feature race. They have already pulled more than a second on the rest of the pack.
And you see the difference in philosophies, getting track position versus saving your tires a little bit. Obviously, Matthews and Lapsevich trying to balance both, but they're still making up quite a distance here in front of the rest of the pack. You can still see behind them, still battling. Fletcher continues to fall through the field, so you have to think he is really trying to save those tires up there. And, you know, Dawson Fletcher taking a pretty conservative approach here. Obviously, he's letting anybody pass on the bottom, not necessarily pinching guys, holding them off. He's not going to let them by, but obviously he's coming out here with the mindset, I have a pace in mind that I want to run. I don't want to be tearing up the rear tires or the front tires. I'm going to run my race, and that's put him back in the 7th position, but I think ultimately on the long run, that 71 could be very quick here as we continue to work through this green flag run.
It's going to be entertaining. By the way, competition yellow confirmed for lap 60 is a bit of contact between two of the MK eSports cars in 3 and 4 just now. Daniel Roper gone to the back and a Brad Wright in the choo-choo train for about 6th on back. Really got loose. That's opened up the door for your biggest mover. Yes, that's from the LCQ, Alex McCollum, looking to get inside the top 11 already. And we're only less than 30 laps into this race.
Well, I was about to say that McCollum said he was going to put on a show, and he is not disappointed just yet. 27th, already up into the 12th position. He's directly behind Brad Wright. He actually just passed, I believe that was Daniel Roper. Yes, it was, for 11th. So McCollum putting on a show for these fans as he is just flying, absolutely flying through the field.
Yeah, he's one of the quickest cars on the track. 18.6s already. 3 to 4 tenths of a second of fall off in the field so far. Also making the way through the field, the winner of the Winchester 400, Carson Hocevar, is already up to 16th position as well for the LCQ.
It seems as though those late comers in the LCQ obviously proving that they're worth their salt here. Of course, you know, I think, Justin, they saw a lot of the action throughout the weekend. And again, it was a thing that just sold itself. They were sold on the quality of the racing that they saw. They're sold on how much fun it is to wheel these late models around Nashville Fairgrounds. And they just needed confirmation that, you know, I may have missed out on qualifying, but I still want to be a part of the main event. And certainly the racing last night did the convincing, and they're making it interesting, but there's a handful of guys that are racing up through this field. Oh, in trouble right in front of Carson Hocevar. Dylan Roper got tagged from behind. I believe it's from Dylan Bates. Yes, it was. They continue to move forward, but man, was that another moment.
Oliver Cordell also involved there. Daniel Roper still stuck on the high side in all of this. That checked him up for a good second plus as Michael Murray now closing in. He tries to gain some ground in 1 and 2, has a bit of fender damage, but a bit more fender damage in front. Cordell a hit again from the back end, that time from Jackson Lewis. Josh Kozik now moves to the high side in 3 and 4 to pass him.
when you thought the patience was going to be a part of it. It doesn't seem like there is a lot of it out here on the racetrack. Josh Kosick, side by side, he's going to use that high side to finally work over Oliver Cordell, who now has Michael Murray in his rearview mirror and trying to pass him on the bottom side. This battle right behind about 15th, 16th spot. Again, this is where a couple of guys have been shuffled back from those drivers that have raced up through the LCQ, and it's created a nice kind of gaggle of cars that are all just trying to jockey for position here back in the pack.
Yeah, you can see Donovan Collins trying to defend 2 lanes at once. The thing is, the NASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series driver of Alex McCollum's on the bottom getting loose. McCollum, a short track specialist, is trying to wheel his way up to the front. He is one of the quick cars still. He's now up to 9th at the moment. By the way, the lead group is getting reeled in. It's down to a gap of only 1 second between Matthews and Nichols, because Nichols is gaining time, Johnson's gaining time, so is Devin Morgan.
They certainly are, and you know the prospect of gaining that time back is only going to get greater here as we have lap traffic. Of course, more cars on the racetrack here than at any point we've seen this weekend, and our race leader starting to drive up to the back of Carson, the driver of the 93. So eventually that lap traffic's going to come into play. We saw it kind of shake things up last night, Justin. Even one of our late cautions was because of some different disagreements between some lead lap cars and some slower traffic. So navigating through that probably going to hurt the leaders more than it hurts the guys that are about third on back. So as they continue to get reeled in by Zach Nichols, this lap traffic that they're going to hit here within a couple of laps probably going to help the 44 run down these top 2.
Oh, Carson Nagy in front of the leaders is wrecking. Big save. Trent Lapsevich and Ryan Matthews dodge him. No caution as Zach Nichols moves now to the bottom out of turns 3 and 4. My goodness, the APC United Late Model Series driver from Mount Hope, Ontario nearly took out the race leaders.
It was one of the strangest things I've ever seen here in iRacing. As you see, 93 is going to have to come onto pit road. You see some pretty significant right front damage on that machine. I don't think I've ever seen somebody, Justin, that late down the straightaway get loose. He pops the right front on top of the wall, nearly sends him over, and of course the race leaders and Lapsevich and Matthews are directly behind them. So obviously we expected the lap traffic comes into play, but I didn't think they'd have to be playing dodgeball with them this early on. And again, just so strange to see that happen in the middle of the straightaway. It just looks like Nagy somehow lost control and got his nose pointed towards the outside wall. And what a series of unfortunate events it was for him, but our race leaders able to escape. Although Zach Nichols, as you can see on your screen, he's caught right up to these guys.
I mean, Trent Lapsevich races against Carson Nagy in that same series referred to. I don't think he was expecting that to take place, though, on the track this early in this one. Still approaching 200 laps to go. Austin Johnson, Devin Morgan from all that have lost time, actually. It's 18-9 for your lead cars up towards the front. 15 laps away from the competition yellow. The top 3 all running the bottom line right next to the yellow group at the moment. Of note as well, Carson Nagy back on racetrack. He's now coming out of the pit lane after 5 laps of damage repair and for 51 seconds.
Also of note, Robbie Keneally is 2 laps down. He currently runs on the racetrack, but he is struggling a little bit in his legacy eSports machine. But also just wanted to put that of note. Every other driver, Jeffrey Eady right now in the back of the field, but he is obviously trying to get lapped here. We look ahead, though, Sam King having an awful time in P6, and there's a long line of cars directly behind him. Some good battling going on here for P8 between Fletcher and McCollum.
And Dalton Collins doesn't want to let these people go. McCollum nearly hits the door of Dawson Fletcher. The Georgia-based driver now trying to work his way back up towards track position. Massive check once again off the corner as he scrapes the wall. Here comes McCollum again on the send. Pushes the 71 up the track. Brad White takes advantage.
And going to cost him a couple of spots as Fletcher going to have to regroup here and try to get back by Brad Wright. He tries to do so on the bottom, but that momentum on the top side is just too much for Fletcher here. Our pole sitter, who has not really had a good go of it, Justin. Again, we remember talking to him pre-race. He said, I'm going to let these guys go. I'm going to save my tires. Obviously, that is what is on his mind, but he's about 6 seconds off the lead, and every lap he clicks off continues to lose some more time. We'll have to see, as again, they are still stacked up here. You see their top three are still running nose to tail, but they are running nose to tail all the way from about 5th back to about the 11th position. Good racing going on out here.
Some great racing, in fact, going on here as Nichols trying to diamond off the corner. They're starting to get a little bit squirrely. Remember last night, some of these drivers were reporting their right rear tires were burning upwards of 30% difference on iRacing. That is one difference compared to real life, where you know the exact percentage of the tire wear for your inner, outer, and middle treads. For these drivers, they nearly popped them.
And again, that's something that we'll continue to have to focus on and talk about throughout the race. One driver, though, that I think we failed to mention in the great drive that he has had racing forward is the 112 of Devin Morgan, another driver who has done a stellar job of marching up through the field. Started in P19. You could see him right there. He just recently overtook Austin Johnson. He is now running in 4th. And when you compare his time to the race leaders, he is still running on pace with those drivers. So a marvelous job here for the 112, who more than anybody, he's gained a lot of spots, but even the track position that he has right now is pretty incredible. So that 112 looks awfully fast here early on, runs down the race leaders again that last time by.
Taking a look on board, more lap traffic is ahead. Up ahead, that's Brandon Hughes, Jimmy Gottlicker, along with Craig Arvanitis, who are all within range of losing a lap here before the comp yellow. And that's going to be difficult as a driver to even take now, is knowing if you lose a lap, you might be put out of contention here early.
Well, I imagine that these drivers that are directly in front, again, for some of these guys, they're just thinking, let me stay on the lead lap and try to save as much tire as I can. Obviously, Lapsevich going to have to do a lot of work to chase those guys down in 4 laps. And, of course, if you had that in the back of your mind, Justin, if there's just one lap you need to hold off the leaders, I don't think we're going to see too much of a fight, or we're definitely not going to see these lap cars pull over for these guys. 3 laps to go. Brandon Hughes right now would be the first car that is ahead of our race leaders, but I can imagine he is going to race Lapsevich for all he's worth, knowing that yellow may be coming up.
Especially in just 2 laps, in fact. Lap 59, comp yellow expected at lap 60 for these competitors. Again, Brandon Hughes -8 from the drop of the green flag, and positions loose in front of the leaders. He's had some damage on the right front fender as well. This is going to get tricky now with the comp yellow coming up this time. Brandon Hughes holding on one more time around. He'll give up the spot. He'll give up the lead lap for the top 3.
Well, I'll tell you what, Justin, he's got a bigger heart than me, because even with an ill-handling race car, I would have just given this thing everything it was worth to try and stayed ahead of Traden Lapsevich. But Brandon Hughes going to go a lap down, and as we're going to cross lap 60, there you see the throwing of the caution flag. So I got to tell you what, Brandon Hughes has a big heart to him, and just surprised that going there into 1, especially that, you know, I guess the blue flag means something, and he obeyed it. But I'm just surprised with 1 lap to go. If he could have just tried to hang on in front of the race leaders, he would have kept his position on the lead lap. So interesting decision for the driver that 111 to do that. But you know, obviously he's back there for a reason. He looks like he tagged the wall and had a little bit of damage on his machine.
One of the presenting sponsors of the All-American eSports 400 tonight is Team 126 Racing. Team 126 Racing is an esports racing team on the iRacing service that specializes in race promotion, sponsorship, and event hosting. Dirt, asphalt, they race it all. Team 126 reminds you to always race clean and have fun. For more information, search for Team 126 Racing on Facebook tonight. Take a quick side-by-side. You're watching the All-American eSports 400, the super late model feature from the virtual Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway. You're watching Podium eSports.
At Maconi Setup Shop, we offer custom-built setups for any asphalt oval car. Prices starting at just $5. Weekly setups available for all Legends, late models, modifieds, and NASCAR trucks, Xfinity, and Cup cars. Do you need one-on-one driver coaching? We've got you covered. Visit www.maconisetupshop.com and find yourself in Victory Lane. Maconi Setup Shop, handling all your setup needs so you don't have to.
Back live from the virtual Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway, Justin Prince, Blake McCandless with you, Ryan Bauer in the director's seat, powered by TopFlightPC.com. As under caution, drivers have the option to, when it's a comp yellow, take their sets of tires if they elect to choose to do so. A few drivers have. In the pit lane, this caution flag: Dawson Fletcher, Oliver Cordell, Jake Sylvia, Jimmy Guckner, Zach Nichols, Austin Johnson, among the drivers who have rolled into the pit lane under this caution period and sacrificed track position early.
Well, there's no guarantee, Justin. I'm trying to look and see. I didn't really see any cars getting jacked up there on pit road, so we'll have to see if they are just repairing damage, which I imagine for most of them is probably the case. But, you know, there may have been one that I missed. Hard to see here in the sim, at least here in the super late models, on who may be taking tires and who is not. It'll be very clear once the green flag drops because, again, those fresh tires, about 50 laps fresher, will make a pretty large difference in terms of pace and speed, and we'll have to see you know, a driver like Austin Johnson, who looked awfully clean. I think he may be a candidate for somebody who was running up near the front and was going to take brand new tires. So we'll have to see. I imagine most of these guys, though, already running towards the tail end. They just wanted to come down and fix some damage after tagging the wall.
Want to go signal this time by. This event is brought to you by Paradigm Racing. It's worrying about your team's marketing or over. Let Paradigm take the lead, allowing you to focus on one thing: winning. Paradigm Racing is your source for everything from sponsorship proposals to race day photography and social media, which allows you to focus on getting to victory lane. Paradigm Racing will make sure you look good when you get there. For more information, visit ParadigmOnline.net tonight. Pace car is off. 184 laps to go. For the super late models for the All-American eSports 400, we're back underway. Trey Lasovich, Ryan Matthews, Devin Morgan, and Sam King, your top four.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, they were kind of stacked up in the back of the pack as a couple of drivers near the tail end of the grid were not able to catch up for this restart. So a handful of drivers here kind of well behind the 8-ball as they get on the restart. Obviously, Lapsovich is not one of them. Some drivers getting up in the marbles right by the wall as they work. Oh, and there's a big crash on the front straightaway. Big wreck.
Caution likely maybe coming out, and yes it is. Oliver Cordell and a lot of the air cars who just pit for tires, all just wrecked on the front stretch.
Yeah, you see it was Pete Poloni and a couple of other drivers. We saw them working 3 wide off the corner, and I think that may just be the case, Justin. The speed difference between new tires and old tires cost it right here. You see Polini's going to shove the middle 3 wide. He has the 44 of Kosick to his outside. He doesn't see him there, and that'll take a couple of cars and give them some pretty significant damage. You see the 43 is in it. I believe the 30 was able to scrape on by, but he may have some damage. You saw Landon Pimbleton is involved in it as well. Obviously, Kosick was a part of that. Oliver Cordell, several cars come piling in. Kretecki, he is involved as well. So several cars here, just not a whole lot of space here, Justin, to go right on board here with the STP machine. You can see exactly that. Just they scatter, and it's just not a wide front straightaway for you to try to maneuver your way around some wrecking cars.
At least 2 or 3 cars flipped, already out of the race. Daniel Roper as a result of the caution. Josh Kosick ended the longest line penalty with Pete Polini. Kosick still getting significant damage repairs after this incident. Man, you could see that again coming, as you mentioned. 2-3 wide. Going down the front stretch leads to several cars getting collected and up and over, and majority of the cars who just pit having to get damage repairs done as a result, as we're back at our yellow with 180 laps to go this time by.
Well, of course, you get a lot of damage. You have to wonder if a lot of these drivers who are still thinking of using those 2 sets they have on pit road, they may be a little bit slower because of the damage. Do you think of using those tires to just try and stay on the lead lap as long as possible? Just depends on how significant it is. We know the damage here on iRacing for these super late models compared to a lot of the other vehicles you'll see on the sim. It's pretty forgiving compared to a lot of other ones. But of course, Justin, you and I both know these race car drivers out here, if you have any amount of damage and you're worried about it, you think you may be a little bit slower, you can never have anything better than a completely clean race car to mess with.
The first driver who pit under that caution flag in the previous competition, was Dawson Fletcher. He was able to get by cleanly, by the way. Johnson got by cleanly. Gawker did, as well as Sylvia. Everyone else about that position back were around that incident. Michael Murray avoided getting more damage. Robbie Keneally avoided damage. Landon Pembleton got significant damage and just had to get repairs done under this caution. Bertacchi ended up getting more repairs having to be done. Cordell, as mentioned, involved with the front nose crushed in. And of course, Daniel Roper, Josh Kozak currently both off track as a result of the incident. Joseph McMorton also given a cause for the caution. Again, the ruling from race control is if you do not, as a driver, over race control radio, tap out, as in the cause of the caution, anyone involved in the incident who triggers the incident, will get a black flag and end of longest line penalty. Essentially, we'll have to start at the back of the longest line for a restart. Let's try this again, shall we? Tradon Lapcevich, Devin Morgan, 1-2 this time. Green flag, we're back to racing.
Back to racing. Here's Lapcevich able to get another great launch into 1 and 2. Devin Morgan, we were talking about him. He's looking to try to make his way forward, and he is going to find his way into the second spot. He is well clear of Ryan Matthews. Devin Morgan on a mission to get to the front, and he has just Lapcevich in his sights to try and get there.
Josh Kozak's car is repaired. He's now rolling out from his pit box at the moment. But top 5 single file, McCollum is there. So is Dalton Collins behind them. But Devin Morgan, known as the outside outlaw in real life for his dirt racing experience from Easley, South Carolina, looking to take the lead away from the Canadian.
Has that Ford Mustang been tuned up all night as he rolls the bottom side of the racetrack? It's going to be another thing to try to get by Lapcevich, but the 112 has found a lot of speed there, running closer to the yellow line than most of the competition. Lapcevich recognizes that. He'll take the line away from him as they work into 1 and 2. He leaves the door open, bounces off the apron. Man, is Morgan trying to get everything he can out of the bottom, but for right now, Lapcevich able to hang on.
Of course, he does have real-world experience, Morgan does, at short tracks. Talked with them during the summertime, had to make financial decisions on that side, focus more on the dirt side of real life. But he's one of the top short track racers for the main events such as this on iRacing. Ryan Matthews also one of those drivers. Your points leader for the super late models of the Cars eSport Tour. Looking very sporty, also known as one of the top setup builders in the short track business. With the Luke Matthews Racing, he'll watch as Morgan tries to go inside, can't get it.
Well, and he's just inching closer and closer each lap. But the
trouble front straightaway. Michael Murray, Robert Duria are stopped in the front stretch. Caution coming out, and it's right in front of the leaders. Just out of the way in time. A couple others were stopped. That could have been disaster.
It really could have been, as they wreck right in front of the race leaders, who are obviously well aware, and once the yellow flag was displayed, were able to back off early. It was Robert Duria, who looks like he had some pretty heavy contact, significant nose damage on the 42 machine, and Brandon Hughes, again, the driver that was just put a lap down a little bit earlier. It looks like perhaps, actually, no, this is going to start with the 114 of Michael Murray, who got into, it looks like the 43. No, actually, Murray, you see he gets tight into the wall, and he's going to take out and collect with them several cars that were already pretty damaged, Justin. A lot of the cars running back here, they were already involved in that first incident, so they obviously were looking to just keep their race cars clean, not able to do it right there.
And that was scary if you were any of the leaders coming around the front stretch, and then you see the whole track block there. Here's a look from Duria. Take a listen. Well then, I mean, there's smoke in front of you. At the same time, though, the cars aren't invisible and that you go through. Or rather, you can't see through the cars physically.
No, and that is one thing that it looked like Duria had more than enough opportunity to try and slow down for that wreck. You see the 43 here, the STP machine. Let's see what Craig, unfortunately for Craig, he doesn't see anything until it's much too late. 114 just slides up directly in front of him, and he really has nowhere to go with how viciously that 114 car overcorrected in the outside wall, basically brought it to a dead stop. And unfortunately for Arvanitis, who already had a pretty tumultuous night going, did a great job with the command earlier, Justin, but unfortunately has gotten tagged in a couple of incidents that he really just really had nothing to do with, but he was along for the ride and in the wrong place at the wrong time.
By the way, out of the race as a result, Michael Murray with the cause of the caution flag. Of course, the official setup provider of the All-American eSports 400 is Maconi Setup Shop. Maconi Setup Shop is your home for iRacing setups. From short track racing to Class A intermediates, Maconi Setup Shop has it all. If you aren't already running the Maconi Setup Shop setup, you're probably losing to someone who is. For more information, visit MaconiSetupShop.com today. And several drivers, not just running with the Maconi Setup Shop logos, mind you, have sung their praises about these custom fixed setups for this event for all the classes throughout the week here, Blake.
They have, and there were a lot of combinations that, if for somebody who isn't familiar with iRacing, it's hard to explain, but a lot of these cars very different, and again, you just have to set them up in such a unique way. The Pontiac Solstice, an often forgotten car here in iRacing. The MX-5 typically doesn't run in a quarter mile, but obviously everybody at the Maconi Setup Shop, we've heard a lot of drivers who are, Justin, you and I both know a lot of drivers very particular about these fixed setups. They've enjoyed it thus far, and they did an excellent job with it. But we're back under green, and Lapsevich once again on the march into 1 and 2.
Just so happens to be the Maconi Setup Shop sponsored car of Matthews, who can't get clear. He's stuck side by side with McCollum now for P3. Devin Morgan now over the back bumper, trading Lapsevich. The first driver on fresh tires is already up to P10 as McCollum already up to P3 for the LCQ.
He's doing a nice job, but side by side for the race lead. Morgan nearly had it off the corner. He's going to poke his nose down there. Lapsevich going to shut the door here early on, just past a third of the way through this race, but you wouldn't know that the way they're racing for the lead. Once again, Morgan looks low. Lapsevich will defend high, but now Morgan off the corner. He's going to have to defend against Alex McCollum now, who has a pretty good run. McCollum's going to dive it in high. He's going to look low off of 4.
Good cut for Devin Morgan. Not able to set it on in yet. Still being patient in this one. Traded Lapsevich having ascended and aggressive on the corner. Great launch for Morgan off the corner. Peeking to the inside for the race lead contact. Traded Lapsevich locks it up. He's able to save it. Devin Morgan moves to the race lead as McCollum moves up to the bottom. He checks up. Move Traded Lapsevich back to second as the bump back from Traded moves Morgan up the track. Traded's back in the lead and McCollum gets spun. Multiple cars are spinning. Caution flag is out.
Oh boy, and a brawl between the front two ends up wrecking the whole field, and that is just some classic short track racing right there, Justin. Morgan gave just the slightest bump to Lapsevich, which, Justin, I think there's a good argument that Morgan had the position going into 3, at least from my perspective. We'll look at the replay. His nose was certainly there on the back straightaway. Obviously, the driver of the 32, none too pleased, nearly gets into Morgan off-corner exit, and then I think we're just, Lapsevich returning the favor here at 1 and 2. Morgan is able to save it, but then they get 3 wide behind them, and you just see it's a parking lot on the back straightaway off of 2. Sam King, the 7 car is parked sideways. Everybody just trying to get on by and keep their fenders clean, but that is just some classic short track racing. Tempers flaring at lap 90 of 250, and oh boy, does a qualm between 2 of our top drivers kind of do a number on the rest of the field. You see it one more time. I know people will look at Morgan's there and say that, well, it's early on in the race. Why are you forcing it there? But the same could be said for Lapsevich, who shut the door. Then obviously Lapsevich returns the favor here in 1 and 2.
And a long way penalty is also given, by the way, for this. For Matthews and McCollum. Sam King collected, Carson Hocevar gets through, Fletcher gets through, and the parking lot includes just about the whole back half of the field. Several drivers are lucky to get not more damage than what they have, let's put it that way. And it's Lapsevich, Morgan, McCollum, Collins, and Hocevar now in the top 5 as a result of the yellow.
It is, and Lapsevich is going to be put at the end of the longest line. McCollum also put there as well, and he obviously isn't too pleased about it. He thought, hey, I checked up for the wreck. What happened to me? How am I responsible for what those guys were doing up there? And somebody just barreling on in behind when I had nowhere to go. So obviously this is kind of part of the game here, Justin. We see Lapsevich, I think I saw his name go up on the board. Actually, he was not given an end of longest line penalty. It was just Matthews and McCollum. Wow. So looking at my sheet there, I just thought I'd glance by Lapsevich, but no, the top 2, they're fine, but it was kind of the chaos behind them where you're seeing some of the penalties assessed.
And we'll see how this turns out. McCollum contesting the spot, by the way. Let's go side by side as they sort this out. You're watching the All-American eSports 400 at Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway on Podium eSports.
Attention race fans! It's the biggest show of the year, Friday through Sunday, October 30th through November 1st at Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway. 6 fast-paced divisions of racing on the quarter mile Friday night, whole qualifying and 4 big feature events Saturday night, and the 36 All-American 400 on Sunday afternoon. Racing starts at 7 Friday, 5:30 Saturday, and 1 o'clock Sunday. Tickets available at NashvilleFairgroundsSpeedway.racing or at the gate on race day. The 36 All-American 400 weekend, Friday, October 30th through Sunday, November 1st.
Want to go signal, and again, the official ruling by race control for those wondering. Traden Lapsevich, Devin Morgan, yes, had gotten loose and had contact a couple times over. However, with McCollum and Matthews being the trigger for the caution, those two get the end of longest line penalties and are now starting in 19th and 20th. So Lapsevich and Morgan get to flare up again if they can. And Dalton Collins and Carson Hocevar look to pounce from 3rd and 4th from it.
Well, I can tell you, I think Morgan is on a mission. He thought that his pass was clean, and we'll just have to see what the reaction is here. I think you see a lot of the field kind of giving these two a lot of space because obviously they weren't assessed any of the penalties here, but obviously they aren't happy with each other. They've done a little bit of rubbing here, so we'll have to see what the reaction is from the rest of the field. I think it's no shocker. You see Morgan and Lapsevich both kind of pulled up by a car length or two. I think everybody else kind of wary of what might come here if these two tangle up once again.
Yeah, and you have to give credit to Carson Hocevar, 25 positions gained. And on top of being a short track ace, on top of running late models across the country, on top of running the NASCAR Gander Outdoors and RV Truck Series this season, he also is known for his sim racing expertise. Runs his own short track racing events on the service. Worked with a couple drivers in the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series this year. And now is watching the battle for the race lead as Morgan to the inside. Can't get the run on Lapsevich, however.
And Morgan going to look to put the bumper back to Lapsevich here. He's going to have the run going into the corner. We'll have to see if any love is lost between the top two. Morgan to the bottom side. Lapsevich holding him off on the top side. Morgan is loose as Lapsevich pitches him off the corner. That is some good racing there. I got to tell you, Justin, I didn't expect Morgan to be this clean. We saw him give a little bit of a bump there in 3 that didn't really amount to much. But Morgan still has that 32 locked in his eyesight.
And you have to think emotions have to calm down with still plenty of races, or laps rather, to run. 150 laps to go. Hocevar loses time. Morgan once again with a good run. Again, not able to set up the run quite yet. His better corner exit, though, has been turned to with the launch. No send yet once again from the Ford Mustang. Oh, wow. Dalton Collins is closing into all this with Brad Wright.
And Brad Wright trying to move forward here is, again, it's just so hard to get my eyes off of this battle for the race lead. You can see Hocevar, both Collins and right, still trying to run in lockstep. But Morgan now, he's trying to find a different way around Trayton Lapsevich. He's looking high. He tried to get the run off the corner, but just wasn't able to make it stick there in the middle line quite like Lapsevich has been able to do. So we'll stack him up once again and see, can Morgan, he's pretty even with Lapsevich there. He's been running a little bit higher in 3 and 4 than Lapsevich has. He's trying to get that exit to see if he can make a move in a 1. He might have it here.
Taking a bit of a look again. Once again, though, trying to build the run off turn 2. Just seems to not be able to get the right run. The thing is about this racetrack, there's so many bumps that drivers can hit and get loose on. Morgan's been hitting them. Now he's underneath the rear spoiler. Trayton Lapsevich into turn 1. Trayton Lapsevich shuts the door. Morgan once again goes underneath. Again a squeeze. Again contact. Again close as they both save it into turn 3.
Oh, man, this is as close as it can get without going over the edge. Morgan, oh, they touch again. Morgan will get loose off the corner. And Lapsevich, man, I'm telling you what, he is giving a lot of trust to a driver that just made contact with him earlier. Oh, they're about to spin each other
right
again.
In the front of the hit.
Oh, and Lapsevich gave him a little brake check there. And that's 100% what that was, at least my opinion as a broadcaster. That was a brake check right there. As you see, the 23 is the cause of the caution. Let's go see where that was, because we were just enjoying that battle for the lead too much. You see the 44 at Cossack directly beneath the 23s. They head off of turn 4. Oh, and it looks like the 23 got loose. Oh, man, and they're climbing each other through as they head into 1. Wow.
That's Josh Kozik and having a breakup with Austin Johnson. Drivers have now been told they cannot take tires, but can take fuel if they choose as wow. Johnson just able to avoid getting significant damage there.
Well, it looks like Morgan going to come down and fix some damage. A couple others will follow as well, but you see a pretty violent impact there for the 23 machine as he's able to land on all fours. You see Austin Johnson comes to a dead stop trying to avoid all of that carnage, but man, it got interesting after the yellow flag was flown, Justin. You saw obviously what Lapsevich didn't exactly agree with how Morgan had been racing him or something, so he just give him a nice little brake check as they went off into 3. And you know, I think you can justify slowing up for a caution, but I don't know, just my opinion, I think there was a little extra to it than that.
Maybe just to say the very least. But about 142 to go. Most of the field just topped off on fuel, by the way, except for Dawson Fletcher, Joseph McWhorter, Zach Nichols, Alex McCollum, Tom Kelly, Ryan Matthews, Pete Polini, all did not top off. As well, one of the drivers who have been cutting their way through the field, keep in mind, has been Trevor Edwards, and give him credit for his performance tonight. One of the errors for the LCQ, runs a lot of short track races in fixed series, also is the spotter for Christian Challoner in the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing series. He's right now in the mid-pack.
He is, and he was somebody who, you know, along with being a part of that Maconi setup shop group, was responsible for helping put out the fixed setup that all these drivers are running on this evening. So obviously a nice job from him. And again, a lot of the drivers very, very pleased with being able to run this. And you know, drivers, Justin, they're a hard group to please. So when you get it right, obviously it's nice to see the drivers do appreciate that, because they're, again, very particular about what they want. Everybody has a different opinion about whether it should be loose, whether it should be tight, where the car should be fast, all of that. So to nail and try to balance all those things is obviously pretty important. But, you know, it'll be interesting. We saw Fletcher early on in the race. He was falling back, doing everything he could to save his tires. He's got a little bit of damage on the nose of his Toyota. But I'm going to be really interested to see here. He took a very conservative approach. We'll see as he stays out here, obviously on older tires. We'll see if this track position play is going to pay off for him, and whether saving early on like that is going to put him out into some clean air here, allow him to drive away from some of these guys.
Really, the only driver with fresher tires up towards the front is Zach Nichols, who had to come in the second time after getting involved in the crash after the fresh tires were taken. Now it's Dawson Fletcher in control of the field. McWhorter in second, off and away, back on her way. Pete Polini really slow off the jump in the 51. Nearly got taken 3 wide. Nearly 3 wide for the lead.
And Dawson Fletcher doing all he can to try to make the high side work. He's going to run the 71 back down to the bottom of the track. Fletcher's going to have to check up. They are nose to tail. A Toyota and a Dodge going for the lead here in Nashville.
2 by 2 for the battle for the lead in the battle for P3. Ryan Matthews also joining the fun. McWhorter with the squeeze. McCollum looking to fall the hole and does. McWhorter nearly clears on by. He's now up to the point. He slides up though. Fletcher still keeps it on the quarter panel.
Able to win it at the stripe that time, but not able to clear Fletcher off the corner. He may have the opportunity to do so now, but a little bit of a slide still puts Fletcher on the bottom, not able to go back all the way to the yellow line just yet, as they are still nose to tail, side by side. McCollum looking for an opportunity to go by, but he can't because of this battle going on in front of him.
He's really getting a great launch at this point. Matthews is also going to buy Zach Nichols for P4, and he's now worked to the bottom now to join the choo-choo trains. The question is, which engine will be the most powerful? The middle line with the squeeze or the bottom line for the entry? Send again for Fletcher. Again, loose now on the bottom.
And Fletcher doing everything he can, but just when you think he's gone, he's going to send it in to 3 and 4 once again. And a great drive off for him. He is still holding strong there on the bottom, but McCollum starting to inch ever so closer. Fletcher, once again, a great drive through 2. As soon as you think he's gone, McWhorter is loose. What a job there. Fletcher battles back. They are still door to door for the lead.
How in the world did they not wreck that out of the front, out for turn 2? McCollum was able to check up and scrape the wall, though. Zach Nichols has now moved up to the middle. Tommy Kelly's also moved up to the middle. First driver who pit under that caution for fuel is Devin Morgan. He's also now in this fight from about P8 or 9 on, back with Brad Wright. Here's a look from there as it is now 2 by 2. Make it 2 by 3.
And McWhorter able to edge on by as he's going to finally clear Dawson Fletcher and look to put a couple of car lengths between he and a couple of drivers. They'll pass by lap traffic that was cruising there on the apron and heading onto pit road. But what a drive there from Fletcher to try to make these guys fight as long as possible. But I think McCollum knows that he has a pretty fast race car, but Fletcher's still holding on the bottom.
Yeah, Fletcher is holding off these drivers well. Remember, he came down under the comp yellow as well, and this is the most aggressive it seems defending. He let cars go before. Caution is out. Again, caution is out. I believe it's Dylan Bates around to the front stretch. Yes, the 91, last night's Pro Late Model winner, brings out the yellow.
He does, and it was contact between the 91 and Dylan Bates, and I also believe he threw the 51 of Pete Pellini. He was also involved in it, and it just looked like rolling off the corner. 91 got through there very well, and you're going to see it right there. Just, I don't even think he was looking to pass him. He just was rolling through the center. A little bit of a checkup out of the 51, and he's not able to avoid that contact, so Pellini's going to get a little bit of damage here. He gets spun, collects more damage for Sam King on the nose of his machine. I believe Travis Pryor, he scrapes the outside wall. He's going to have a little bit of damage on his right front quarter panel. Actually takes a pretty hard lick into the wall off of 4 there. So they wreck in the back as we are close, very close to approaching the halfway point. And yeah, there you see just some real estate down there that I don't think the 51 was expecting Dylan Bates to roll up on him like that.
Both of those drivers, by the way, are called for the end of longest line. The rough break, if you're a fan of Albert Cordell, he got into the back into that as well, as Sylvia just able to avoid it. Drivers have now been told pits are open, but the thing is, Alex McCollum and Ryan Matthews came down last time by. This could get intriguing now in how they play this. They're coming off the pit lane, in fact, right now with Travis Pryor.
They are, and again, a lot of different strategies being implemented here. Some people just driving through, some people coming down to service their machines. We'll have to see what the official call is, and of course, whether tires are being changed. You have to think they have 2 sets is what they started this race on. We're about halfway through, so I mean, the math just works out. You think that they would use at least 1 set here, and that is, for the most part, what you're seeing right here. Tires are going up, jacks are putting these cars up, and they are getting service to their cars here.
Here's a bit of strategy coming in. Well, you mentioned Travis Pryor in a few of the Eric cars pitting, but Dawson Fletcher takes 2 tires. He's the only driver to do so, it appears. Everyone else, 18 to 24 seconds in the pits.
Well, I think you saw that Fletcher was able to hold on for a while, and he thought, well, it's just too important to have that track position. And so Fletcher, he thinks that he has a better shot saving at least one side of his tires. And of course, the way this works, at least in iRacing, not exactly how you might have it in real life, but the way it works is you have 2 sets of tires, but you have 2 sets per side. So you get obviously 2 sets of right side tires, 2 sets of left side tires. So Fletcher taking 2 tires, I believe he'll still have 2 on the left side, but only 1 set left for his right sides if that's how he decided to take them. So we'll have to see if that works out for him. I'll even go down and confirm and make sure that he took 2 tires and which side he took them on. Yep, he did take 2 right side tires, so he'll have 1 set left on the right side, 2 on the left.
To correct you there, he did come down, remember, for the comp yellow on lap 60. So he has 1 set on the left side left. Give or take. Correct. If I'm thinking correctly, yes. Give or take, yes. Either way, 124 laps to go. Expecting one to go signal this time. It's Fletcher, Wright, Nichols, Morgan, Lapsevich, Johnson, Hosevard, Lewis, Edwards, Pritaki, your top 10 at the moment here. Lots of strategies coming up and coming into play.
It is, and we'll have to see. Obviously, taking less tires, it works when you have some people who kind of follow you out there, but he's going to have some pretty snarling hounds behind him who are obviously on 4 fresh fuel goods, and they're going to try to dispose of Dawson Fletcher as quickly as possible. You also have to mention it can be easy to spin the tires with how much horsepower these super lates have, being in first gear, second gear, depending on where they are for these restarts. It can get pretty tricky on old tires, so we'll have to see. Fletcher is going to kind of be able to control everything here, roll up to that yellow or white line and get us going here for this restart. So it'll be interesting to see if he can manage it on these old tires and how everybody else tries to navigate around him.
Drivers still sorting out their positions here before we get back underway. And right before that, too, there were 7 cars under the blanket. This can go any direction at this way on who wins this race, because Trayden Lapsevich was fast at the start of the race, along with his competition all weekend being Ryan Matthews. Then you had Alex McCollum wheel his way up to the front. Short track ace, known for being a specialist before he joined the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series on that side of the surface. Then you add Devin Morgan to it, you add Carson Hocevar to it, and you have a full blender of drivers mixed in. And don't forget about Dawson Fletcher and Brad Wright.
No, you certainly can't. Again, so many strong names coming out for this event, whether they've been a part of the festivities all weekend long or were convinced last night to try and to come here and try their hand at it, to try and run and see if they can't run out here and win this race. Again, this race, we talked about it last night, Justin. This is a special event. It's kind of a win or nothing mentality for a lot of these guys. No points out here that these guys are running for. And again, the benefit of iRacing. Not a whole lot of money being spent out here on your actual race car. Of course, damage, all that, not having to go back to the shop and fix that. So a pretty low barrier of entry in terms of cost. So gets a lot of people involved. And obviously, they want to be able to say that they won the first running of the All-American eSports 400 here on iRacing as soon as Nashville Fairgrounds was released on the sim. So we'll have to see who's up to the task.
Now, preparations for this event span all the way back to late July, early August for some of the preparation. But these drivers are prepared to finally get back underway just past halfway. 120 laps to go from the virtual Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway for the super late models for the All-American eSports 400. Dawson Fletcher, Brad Wright off and away. Fletcher with a clean launch. Brad Wright still trying to keep the outside. Zach Nichols forced to check up as it's now a quick caution. And we're back on our yellow. And they'll re-rack them and stack them here.
Actually, yeah, I think that was kind of a technical issue there. Perhaps one of the lights being flickered on, or a switch being broken, because the caution is out, but we did not have an incident on track.
Take it side by side as the drivers will regroup here. 118 to go this time by from the virtual Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway. You're watching the All-American eSports 400 on Podium eSports. Welcome back to the virtual Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway for more coverage of the All-American eSports 400. Justin Prince, Blake McCann with you, with Ryan Bauer in the director's seat for tonight's action. There's been a lot of great racing. It's been an attrition-filled past few laps or so, but now we'll have to see how things fare out in this one.
We will, and again, as these caution laps continue to wind down, and as we continue to race here, we know a lot of these drivers have been with us all weekend. They've raced hard, they've made rivals. All that is coming into play, and of course, you know, you can even see it on your screen. Sun's starting to set as we continue to get later on here into the evening. Just like real life, anticipation's building. The lights are going to come on here very soon as the sun continues to set. Just kind of setting the mood for what we're going to see in the last half of this race.
Expecting one to go signal this time by the sanctioning body for the All-American eSports 400 is the Southeastern Sim Racing Association. The Southeastern Esports Association was founded to bring high-level events that we have come to know and love from the real world to the sim world. Don't let the name fool you. We race at any iRacing track and welcome drivers from all over the sim. More information, visit southeastern-esports.com. In regards to that, many different drivers from many backgrounds. You have drivers affiliated with this track for many years, whether on the spotter stand, whether on the racetrack, or whether their families a part of the history here. Others who are pro drivers or competing to make it to the very top of the pro levels this year in the wintertime. And of course, you have some of the drivers who race this as a hobby also mixed in, or work with the various sim racing organizations across the iRacing world. Lots of different backgrounds for these drivers as we get ready to go back green, Blake.
There is, and again, that's what makes iRacing so special. You have guys who have been in real life, guys who have been a part of the sim racing world for a long time. You just get to, it's kind of a melting pot, and it's really nice to see all these different drivers come out and compete here.
Back underway, 114 laps to go for the Super late model portion of the All-American eSports 400. Dawson Fletcher checks up off at turn 2, nearly hit by Brad Wright, who kicked out. Moved the 48 up to the race lead. Devin Morgan looking to now take advantage on the high sides of 3 white behind him.
Well, I tell you what, those two tires are not going to be very good there for Fletcher, who's stuck on the bottom, and I think everybody is recognizing that, as that 71 looks like he has an anchor attached to that car with how he was running on the older tires, and it's probably not going to work out well for him. Devin Morgan, though, he wants a piece of the race lead. He's down low and side by side with Brad Wright.
He wants his lead back, and he takes his lead back. Move Devin Morgan in the Barber Ford car back up to the front. Fletcher still stuck at the bottom with Zach Nichols to his outside. Treydan Lapsevich, Carson Hosevar are the next drivers in line as Fletcher gets a good exit and nearly hits Brad Wright's door.
Yeah, Fletcher trying his best to hang on now. Looks like the heat building up a little bit, gonna help him out slightly, and Devin Morgan is just trying to check out as quickly as he can. He's built up about 2-3 car lengths, and Fletcher now able to clear for second. So Fletcher, we thought he was going to fall, or at least I did, but he is hanging on quite nicely here. He's going to create a little bit of a buffer here for Devin Morgan out front.
Yeah, already 4/10 of a second picked up on Fletcher, and this is making the battle for about 5th on back pretty entertaining. Carson Hocevar, Brad Ryder side by side behind all this. Trayden Lapcevich is on through. Hocevar now through out of turn 2 in the bottom. Jackson Lewis is back up at the front for the first time in a long while.
It looks like he's going to be able to go down on the bottom side of the racetrack pretty easily. He's going to pass Brad Wright, who has lost a handful of positions here on the high side. And we saw Brad Wright do this whether it was early tonight or in the run that we saw in the Pro Late Models last night. He is thinking long run. He, kind of like Fletcher, at least early on, was thinking of that long run strategy. So not surprised to see him drifting on back. Lewis is able to catch up as Hocevar now rolling up and trying to become a part of this battle for second. They got pretty dicey there for a moment between Lapcevich and Fletcher.
There it is for Lapcevich underneath. Fletcher now is up to the middle line for the first time in a while, and he is loose. Drifted his way out of turn 4 again. Trayden Lapcevich now resets, trying to find his way around the blue, white, and red machine of the number 71. Fletcher still not backing down yet. Single file now amongst the top drivers. As the caution is now out down the back as it's Oliver Cordell this time.
And Oliver Cordell spun, and I believe that's all it was. Single car spin, perhaps with a little bit of help. Can't really tell if he had contact, but you see the 26 there, the left side's pick up and hit below the apron here, which obviously upsets the car. He checks up and gets, I mean, the very slightest tap from Sam King, who, I mean, there's really nowhere that he could go. You'll see it one more time. He's going to lose a lot of momentum here. Those left sides, drifts through 1 and 2. And you see he'll hit the apron right there, sets him sideways. And, I mean, King barely gives him a tap around, but it looked like Cordell was already had his hands full before he got there.
Tempers are flaring, let's put it that way. And in some cases, you have to wonder where the give and take comes into play. Here's Craig Arvinitis. See for the onboard. Just able to dodge it. Caution is given credit to Oliver Cordell's self-spin. End of longest line penalty.
Yeah, that's exactly what they'll judge it. Not a whole lot that Sam King can do. They'll both come down pit road. Cordell, King, you have Jake Sylvia, who also brought his car down for service as well. Again, a lot of these guys, when they can, just trying to assess and fix any of the damage that they've kind of collected through a couple of these wrecks that we've seen, and just trying to do the best they can. This is their one opportunity to do it. Obviously, not going to come down and pit under green and lose all that time. So it can take 30 or 40 seconds, whatever it does, to take a pace lap around here and try to get as much fixed as possible on their machines.
Absolutely. By the way, in the regards to the recovery drives, McCollum's back to 14th. Robbie Keneally, who had problems from the beginning of the race, 2 laps down in 15th position. McWhorter's up 20 spots again to 13th after some massive wreck avoidances. Matthews is back to 8th. Brad Wright is back to 9th. Austin Johnson is back to 11th, among the drivers who have been up and down the grid a good few times. Of note, you've seen the 2-car Jimmy Gochner coming in pit. He had just added some more damage, unfortunately, for the Shamrock Motorsports machine. They want the armed coal barrier in turns 1 and 2. Some other drivers getting repairs still are Sam King at the moment. Also joined in the pit lane, Jonathan Smith and Jake Sylvia, who also have the chance to add fuel. And that was something we talked about as well, is the fuel can add balance to the back of the race car, because the less weight in the back of the car, usually the more tighter it gets, so to speak, in some cases. Some people like to add fuel back in to balance out the weight of the race car.
It will, and again, all of these balances that you can do, obviously you can't come down and make any adjustments, right? We're on fixed setups. Everybody has to be on an even playing field. So a lot of these guys, you may think, well, they have a little bit of damage, maybe it makes them looser, maybe it makes them tires or tighter. Is there anything that they can do on pit road to try and service their car and kind of adjust it to their needs? Well, we're all on fixed setups. That means you can't adjust on pit road, and so whatever condition they're fighting because of the damage, they'll just have to fight that the rest of the night.
100 laps to go for the All-American eSports 400. Devin Morgan leads us back to green. We're underway again from Nashville. Good launch for Morgan into turn 1. Trayden Lapcevich looking to take P2 in turn 2 and can't do so.
Trying tried to do it on the bottom side. He hasn't been down there much tonight, but he's able to slide up in front of Carson Hocevar that time. And I got to tell you what, Justin, that the drive that Devin Morgan has put on, I know obviously he's in the lead right now. It's easy to say, but starting where he started and just kind of the aggressive mentality that he's coming here with as they're scattering back in the pack nearly 3 wide as they enter 3 and 4. What Morgan has been able to accomplish here, he's had zero tolerance. He's made his way to the front, and obviously he is just being aggressive, pushing that car to its very limit, but it's paid off for him. He's gone as far up as you can go, and even when he's got the lead, his pace has not slowed a bit. He wants to be in control, and he wants to try and pull away as quickly as possible. It's worked out for him so far tonight, because more than anybody else, as they've marched through the field, nobody has gotten up front and started to pull away quite like Morgan has right now.
And of course, looking for the big money as well. Again, top price, minimum $150 for this super late model event tonight. Still holding on to a podium position now with Carson Hocevar behind with Jackson Lewis. Morgan, an 18.3, was the fastest lap of the track last time by. Hocevar now looking to take advantage underneath for P3 and 3 and 4. Trouble down the back straightaway as well. Brad Wright loses several spots. He's been shuffled to 16th. Now he has lost several different positions. He was 9th entering the lap.
And we'll have to go back and see what happened there. I think he actually just got loose.
Oh,
yeah.
The wrecking behind Robbie Keneally. More cars wrecking. Pete Polini also involved from Renko Motorsports. We're under yellow again. And what a time for that.
It was, and that was something that actually started directly in front of Brad Wright there. He got into the mix, and you're going to see some contact here. Robbie Keneally, and I believe Dylan Bates is involved in this one as well. You can kind of see one drifts up, one cuts down a little bit, and the entire field is coming through. You can see a violent impact there, flipping up and over here on the back straightaway. That was the 51 car of Pete Polini, who took flight. He's been involved in a couple of accidents, but none are probably going to take the wind out of his sails more than that one. But we'll see it one more time from his vantage point. Let's see what's going to happen here. We'll get a nice little rotation here from our gyro cam. Nowhere for him to go, and he just gets squeezed into the wall. And oh boy, that camera, that's a violent little ride right there, but heavy damage, unfortunately, is going to be the bad outcome of that.
I mean, I've seen bone stocks flip upside down and get back on the racetrack in an event before. I don't know if I've seen a super late model do so, and I think he's rolling on the pit lane from that. Yes, Pete Polini can keep going from that. That is incredible. Here's a look from Tommy Kelly, who had just hit the wall in turn 3 before things went crazy. Take a listen. Perfect view.
Great view as he was kind of squeezed right there. It looked like he nearly had that wreck missed, but then both sides on the top and the bottom kind of converged right there in the middle to really give him no opportunity to fully miss that wreck. Got a little bit of damage, but I guess all things considered, nothing that is significantly going to slow him down. But Justin, we talked about it. Patience was kind of the name of the game early on, but it seems like with these yellow flags, and of course we are under 100 laps to go, it seems that a lot of that patience that we saw early in the night with these cautions, with these multiple restarts, we still have some strategy left to play out, but it looks like that patience that we saw that was prevalent throughout the night, that's starting to slip away here, to say at the very least.
And alongside penalties for cause for Dylan Bates and Robbie Keneally. As a result, DNF now for Sam King. In this one, he was scored 26th last time by. At this point, though, you have to wonder how these drivers are going to play this. Some of them still have a set of tires in the pits. Some of them have one left side set of tires left, like Dawson Fletcher. Some of them are potentially out of sets, depending on how things have flowed so far. It's been that type of night for these cars. It's been up to 10 cars now in the lead pack for the lead at some points now.
It has been, and again, with these late restarts, they're starting to get closer and closer to the end. The aggression level is just going to go up. We're going to see two rivals going at it once again. Devin Morgan and Traden Lapsevich restarting on the front row. We know these guys didn't see eye to eye early. Could we see some more contact between the two who have been so strong tonight? We'll see this time. Morgan gets a good launch there on the bottom. Isn't able to clear. Lapsevich, though, on the top side. Green flag out once again.
There was contact in the back of the field. Brad Wright got rear-ended by Duria, who was caught sleeping. The last car running on the track rear-ended him hard. This is all while the lead is side by side. Traden Lapsevich not giving up that top. He scrapes the wall. Devin Morgan with the run into turn 1.
And it was Morgan who got loose off of 2. That allowed Lapsevich to have that run that last lap, but this time Morgan able to find some grip there on the bottom. He's trying to clear him, but here comes Lapsevich once again charging hard on the high side. They know control of this race is what's in the balance. I think tire wear is kind of out the window right now. They want to be the leader, and they are duking it out here right in front of Carson Hocevar.
And Carson Hocevar just licking his chops and watching this. He gains a lot of time, Hocevar does. Traden Lapsevich gaining time in 3 and 4 on the pinch. Still, Morgan leads at the stripe. 86 laps to go. Traden Lapsevich drifts up. Morgan just hits the bottom divot to exit the corner, still with the nose in front.
Still running in lockstep formation, just like they had the last couple of laps. Lapsevich very loyally running the middle, but he's a little bit loose off of 4. Morgan, he'll look to the bottom side. He'll slide up. He'll clear Lapsevich to move Morgan into control of the race. He's all by himself, and now they run single file through the top 3, but Morgan to the point. Lapsevich and Hocevar in 3rd.
Dawson Fletcher still holds on to P4 along with Trevor Edwards now in 5th. What a run for some of these drivers tonight. Several drivers from your LCQ race have cut their way to the field in contention, like Hocevar, like Edwards. And don't forget about McCollum, who is still car charging up. He's among your drivers who just is in front behind Ryan Matthews hitting the wall. Trouble in 3 and 4. Jonathan Smith is around in the 25. No caution yet as the drivers make their way to the corner. He is rolling, though, at the top of the wall.
And it looks like going to be no yellow flag for that as the top 3 continue to pull away here. Battle for 4th going on here. Trevor Edwards, as you mentioned, slowly working his way through the field. He's trying to pass Dawson Fletcher. He's been awfully tough to pass. 71 gets into the wall. That will stack them up just a little bit as Edwards tried to slide up in front of him off a corner exit. They're still door to door. Great run off the corner for Fletcher, but here comes Edwards once again trying to beat him on the bottom. Oh, but Fletcher, what an exit he gets off the top side.
What a loose moment for Dalton Collins as well. Opens up the door for McCollum to attack Ryan Matthews. Edwards just not able to clear. This has lost them nearly a full second now to the top 3. Near 3 wide as Jackson Lewis takes a peek. He still tries to take a peek. He's cut off. McCollum hits the apron. He drifts into the wall. Goes Matthews. Now it's back 2 wide, 3 rows deep as everyone's drifting. Make it 4 rows deep.
And that was Jackson Lewis, who thought he had a nose under that 2 wide battle in front of him. He was going to make it 3 wide with Edwards and Fletcher there on the top side, but really thought better of it because if he hadn't checked up there, that would have been a pretty big accident off the corner. But we see they're still battling in front of him. That's going to allow him to roll right back up to this battle. Fletcher is able to get the best of Edwards for the moment, but Jackson Lewis now nose to tail, and he has even a line of about 6 or 7 cars behind them. This is all a battle for 4th.
P4 to P12 are separated by 1.5 seconds right now. Still, Edwards not able to build up a run with the driver with 2 tires. Under 80 laps to go as the Maconi setup shop of the Duke Matthews Racing driver again bobbles off the corner. Coming up to 76 to go. Your top 3 still are single file, separated by 8 tenths up in front.
McCollum able to gather it back up. He'll settle in the 8th position, and really the single file line that you talked about, all running back to back against each other, just all kind of trying to sort themselves out here, find a little bit of a rhythm. This is, of course, a rhythm racetrack here at the Nashville Fairgrounds, so trying to find your rhythm at both ends of the track because of how different they seem to drive. I know those bumps down kind of near the exit of turn 2 is what upsets a lot of these cars, so just trying to sort everything everything out, but Jackson Lewis still looks like he is looking for a way around Trevor Edwards. He thinks he's faster. He went to the top side there to look around him for just a lap, but the caution flag is out, as it looks like it was in the middle of 3 and 4, I believe, is where this one comes out. But the racing we're seeing is great stuff, and I believe, yeah, the 22 machine might be in this one.
Comp caution now ruled as drivers can take tires. This is why. This is the 22. Jaden Kratecki having a rough moment down the backstretch to the point where he knew he flipped it. Let's take a look at this one again, as what in the world happened here?
Well, it looked like he got that right side, hit the wall pretty hard off a corner exit, got the wheel turned back there, so he hits the wall here. And unfortunately, he was already turning to the right trying to save the car, so he kind of hits it once, and that second impact that he makes with the wall kind of, you know, he gets the tires up on top of it, and he'll climb it just a little bit. So he's able to save it, though. Caution flag was thrown, but a nice job. He's able to collect that. Rest of the field able to scatter around him. We've seen a lot of cars, Justin, kind of down the middle of the back straightaway, probably not where you would think a single car accident would happen. Obviously, you had the potential to run into somebody and scrape fenders and perhaps spin each other on the straightaway, but a couple of times tonight already we've seen that just going down the backstretch, it can be hard for these drivers with how they're sliding off of turn 2 to keep it under control as they work down the backstretch and into turn 3.
Again, you have to go about 50 laps for you to get a comp yellow again, where you're really close at that mark to be at that window, to be outside the window. By the way, again, the caution brought out for a rough night for the Walkerton, Indiana native and Jag CRA All-Stars Tour Rookie of the Year from 2019, Jared Kratecki, in this one. I'd like to remind you that the All-American 400 takes place at the Rear World Track this upcoming weekend, October 30th to November the 1st. For tickets to the 36th running of the All-American 400 at Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway, log on to NashvilleFairgroundsSpeedway.racing, search for Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway on Facebook, and follow them on Twitter at Race Fairgrounds tonight. 70 laps to go, this time by on the pylon. Justin Prince, Blake McAllis, Ryan Bauer with you as we get ready for racing once more. Expecting to go back green with 68 laps to go. And in regards to that real world event, a couple of the drivers and family members you'll see a part of that event this upcoming weekend are in this field. Caden Lapsevich, the brother to Traden Lapsevich, will be running in the field. Carson Hosevar will also be running, or is in the entry list at the least, for the All-American 400 this upcoming weekend. Blake.
Everybody heading out for what should be a very, very exciting weekend next week. Again, just the racing action that we're seeing on the track right now. If it's not convincing you to go and buy a ticket right now, I don't know exactly what will. Again, iRacing, hats off to them. I know William Hill was talking about it the other night, just with how close they were able to get everything here. The signage, the bumps, everything in the racetrack is just exactly like you would see in real life. So it's going to be really interesting to see these guys who are trying to put on a show and replicate a lot what you'll see next Saturday and next Sunday night.
Official entry list was locked in today. As mentioned, Hosevar is a part of it. In fact, the third name on the list. He starts up towards the front of this one. Green flag. Couple drivers stayed out under the comp yellow. Alex McCollum and Dylan Bates. Travis Pryor also had some strategies. Traden Lapsevich bobbles around. Carson Hosevar takes advantage to P3.
I know there were 3 wide back in the pack around Devin Morgan for just a moment, but Hosevar and McCollum able to hold up for trouble here. One car into the inside wall as they work nearly 4 wide. It was the 81 machine who gets tagged. That was Travis Pryor, who was running in the 7th position. Had some contact up there, and oh boy, did he have an interesting almost save. It was off the nose of Traden Lapsevich.
Rolling the dice was McCollum under this caution, but it's Carson Hosevar and his pink and black machine looking to take the point for the first time. Coming at 65 to go. Big block behind for P3, but it's Hosevar to the point.
And he does so relatively easily. Much much easier than I thought it was going to be, but what a great drive he had through the center of 3 and 4. And oh man, off of 2, he is launching off, already building up about a car length or 2 away from Alex McCollum. So Hocevar is digging at the right time. He's trying to build himself a nice little cushion here, as there's still a bunch of cars trying to get around Alex McCollum for second.
Yeah, those older tires are falling off. And by the way, as this evening goes on in Sim, it's now past 5 p.m. on the racetrack. 18.146, the fastest lap of the race just set by Hocevar. Matthews is on by. Here comes Morgan now, falling on by, just shredded off the bumper nearly of McCollum.
And oh boy, was that almost a mistake there for Morgan on the crossover, but he was just clear enough to try and get down there as they're wrecking in the back of the pack. Big wreck here on the back straightaway will collect several cars as they junk it up here. It was off of turn 2. Jimmy Gauker is involved. Believed it started well in front of him. I think the 51 is involved as well. Yep, Pete Polini was kind of the start of everything right there. The 78 takes a nice tumble on the wall. Again, big accident here on the back straightaway, and that'll once again put us under the caution flag.
It was Trevor Edwards who helped him around there. Pete is now done for the night as well. This was the battle for about 13th or so. That ends up putting Sylvia to the fence, Bruckner into the wall as well. And of course, you've seen that Eddie drove into the wall after the fact as well.
Yeah, it looks like he's trying to get around here. We'll look on board. Jake Sylvia, man, that's so tough. You see that brief hole right there, and you just have to guess low or high, and he gassed it up and hoped that it was going to be low. You see Eddie, the 88 gets spun here as the 78 was trying to get back and going in the proper direction, but that's just so tough. Again, with how tight it is, particularly just exiting the corners here at the Nashville Fairgrounds, it is tough enough with how much speed you're carrying in the banking of the corners and just how it kind of cuts down off the wall when you head onto the straightaway. It's not any easier when you see a car sitting broadside in your lane as well, but these guys have done a pretty decent job of it.
Under 60 to go this time by your top 5. Hocevar, Matthews, Morgan, McCollum, and Lewis. Who will come away with the victory? We'll take you side by side, and we'll find out in just a few minutes or so. You're watching the All-American eSports 400 for the virtual Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway on Podium eSports. Stick around.
Attention race fans! It's the biggest show of the year, Friday through Sunday, October 30th through November 1st at Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway. 6 fast-paced divisions of racing on the quarter mile Friday night, whole qualifying and 4 big feature events Saturday night, and the 36 All-American 400 on Sunday afternoon. Racing starts at 7 Friday, 5:30 Saturday, and 1 o'clock Sunday. Tickets available at Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway.racing or at the gate on race day. The 36 All-American 400 weekend, Friday, October 30th through Sunday, November 1st.
Back live on Podium eSports from the virtual Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway. Justin Prince, Blake Buchanan with Ryan Bauer in the director's seat for tonight's action. As you're watching the All-American eSports 400, the super late model feature, 250 laps, 192 of them now in the books this time by. For Carson Hocevar, this is now the biggest shot he's had to win this race. Not only because he's at the front, but because he's got some of the quickest pace on the track now that he's found his way in clean space. Now the problem is, he's going to have to try and get good space again with Ryan Matthews to his outside.
He'll have to try, and we'll see what type of launch that he can get. We're seeing late in the going here, the old conservative, well, let's save a little bit of tires here. The more and more we go on, that strategy is quickly leaving these drivers' mindsets. They're thinking about just getting everything they can, trying to hold on to the next caution. We saw Hocevar was able to get a nice lead here. We'll see if he's able to expand it here, but Matthews, a great launch off the top side. They'll be about dead even as they head into 1 and 2.
It's not going to be easy task. One of the best short track racers on the surface to the outside. Hocevar on the inside. Morgan falls behind in P3. Nearly to the back end, in fact, to the Camaro, nearly punting him as Hocevar can't get clear down the front.
Can't quite do it. Matthews is going into the outside wall as they enter one, but still able to roll it on the top side. Hocevar hanging tough down low. Morgan also looking for a way around as he dives it in. He'll get side by side with the 5'11 of Matthews there for just a moment. Oh, they may look three here as Matthews continues to roll on by. Hocevar had him at the stripe.
55 to go as McCollum continues to get freight train on the older tires. Trey Lapsevich now moving to the bottom as Jackson Lewis is now looking to take away P4 and does. Matthews slides up, loses grip off the corner. Hocevar trying to still give the later arc going into the entry. Still has not worked out for him.
Not quite yet. Matthews still holding on strong on the high side. Lewis looking on there. You can see the battle. All three cars in front of him. But as you can see from that onboard shot, really nowhere to go for anybody who's just kind of watching these two lanes be clogged up. But Hocevar able to get out front. He's clear. And now the battle is on for second. Morgan trying to get it done on the bottom.
That white, black, and green machine able to get clear for second, and Jackson Lewis is now picking up the tempo as well. This is the furthest he's been in any event all weekend, making contact behind with Matthews. Trey Lapsevich falls behind as Matthews drifts up the racetrack. Matthews nearly to the marbles. Move Lewis up to P3 as Trey Lapsevich is now side by side with his teammate.
And they traded paint a little bit there, but it's going to work out for Lewis, who touched doors there and is able to escape with third. But Morgan is all over the back bumper of Carson Hocevar looking for a way to round. And how about Lewis? He's come right up into this fight as well.
This is all while the race lead is now back and forth. Here comes Morgan on the bottom of the racetrack. Hocevar now given a bit of a pinch once again. Hocevar, though, just about got clear. Lewis now watches from the perch in the pay-to-bills machine as Morgan looks to try and find pay dirt.
We'll see if he's able to do it. Morgan actually with the nose in front, but pinching off exit. Hocevar was a bit loose. They are door to door for the lead. Into 3 and 4, Morgan trying all he can. He has been so strong on the bottom, and look at the run. He gets off the corner. He'll have it at the stripe. He'll nearly have him clear by the time they get through 1 and 2.
Can he get it completely? Just about does. Hocevar hangs on the corner panel into 3. Make it single file. Morgan to the race lead. Hocevar back to second. Single file now for the top 6. 47 laps to go. Now the question is going to be, who makes the move yet next here?
I don't know who it's going to be, but one thing is for certain is that Devin Morgan will not be denied. You can put him any track position you want. You can put him in any situation. You can put him on the top. You can put him on the bottom, and he has found a way to get to the race lead. They're still battling for third, though. Trayden Lapsevich starting to work his way by Jackson Lewis, and he's going to be able to easily clear them to move Lapsevich, who's been so strong all weekend long. He's up to P3.
And Lewis had smacked the wall, in fact, setting it up down the front straightaway at the flag stand, in fact. Checks up Brian Matthews, however. Zach Nichols, Dalton Collins, Dawson Fletcher have all joined this fight as well. All while the top 2 are now running away by about 4/10 the gap between P2 and P3 into turns 3 and 4. Big bubble there about the teens.
Well, and don't forget about Carson Hocevar. He hasn't exactly let Devin Morgan out of his sights just yet. You can even argue he's starting to gain a little bit of ground back on the driver of the 112. So these guys running about a dead even pace, and perhaps Hocevar even running a little bit faster once he's in the traffic.
It's the Berkshire sponsored car battling in the pink machine for Hocevar. It's the Barber Ford car battling up at the front. It's now Berger versus Barber. They're jumping up and down. The fans jumping up and down with 42 to go still as Trayden Lapsevich is now the fastest car on the track.
And oh boy, aren't these drivers coming on strong at the right time. Most grip out here is on the track right now. Cooler track temperature as the sun continues to set than we've seen all night long. Lapsevich into the outside wall off of turn 2, but just a little bit of a scrape for him. May even help him as he gets off of 4, but Morgan, Hocevar, and can Lapsevich do anything to run these guys down? And of course, Justin, that's exactly what Morgan wants to see. He wants to see these guys side by side in his rearview mirror.
Yeah, because we've seen how much time can be gained in a cushion if you fight side by side. That Bobby Lawrence Legacy Esports machine still wheeling around. Host of our works with that group, remember, with the short track program as of a few months ago. He's checked up though, got a good run off the corner, just couldn't take it underneath Morgan.
Couldn't take it just yet, and again, that's what that's exactly what you want to do. That's what Lapsevich wants to see. We talk about Morgan, he wants them to be side by side behind him. Lapsevich wants them to get after it in front. Maybe he can make a move. We've seen a couple of 3 wide moves throughout the night. Could we perhaps see it here late in the going? Under 40 laps to go. Not sure how many cars are going to be able to keep up. We obviously just have 24 running on the racetrack. We started with 33, so potential for the caution obviously goes a little further down with some cars that are out there limping around with damage. Not as many close battles on the racetrack. Again, if you have the opportunity, I feel like you have to take it, even if you are going to go 3 wide.
Trouble in 3 and 4. What is Brad Wright doing? One of your contenders for the Pro Series this winter is now getting warned because he is trying to punt. Joseph McWarden sends him. He puts him in the fence. Caution is out. What in the world is Brad Wright thinking? He is disqualified.
And obviously, Wright, whatever happened to him, he was not happy. And I'm going back and looking at exactly what took place. They had a little bit of a battle for a couple of laps. You saw the 30. He moved the 48 out of the way. The 48 tried to get him back. Couldn't. He tried to get him back a second time. Moved him out of the way, but couldn't do anything. He lets him by again. Nearly hits him. And then just completely took him out there. So Brad Wright got about 3 shots for what was just a slight bump. And wow, this was a long battle that lasted about 3 or 4 laps. But I got to say, the scoreboard, Justin, is about 3-1 Brad Wright right now. And then obviously he just finishes off the 30 car. Crazy stuff. I think you're right. He's just lost his mind.
The Advocate Esports machine was hitting him every corner until right there just absolutely sent him. And for obvious reasons, that car and driver out of the race. Here's a look from Tommy Kelly.
And Kelly, yeah, you can even see Wright just turns directly into him in the corner. It was just above bumping him. He made sure that 30 car was going to get destroyed. And, you know, Justin, I'm a racer on here plenty of times. I know short track racing, you're obviously going to have your tempers flow, but I just think there's a fine line to do it. You saw Lapsevich, you saw Morgan earlier on. Obviously, they didn't see eye to eye, but they gave each other a couple of bumps, but you've seen them racing hard and racing clean since then. Obviously, I think anybody out there can agree. Short track racing, you give me a little bump, I'm maybe liable to give you one back. That's hard racing, but getting one slight bump from a driver and then driving over him 3 times and eventually just completely destroying him, I mean, I think that's just a little above the line right there. That's a little too far gone for Brad Wright.
Puts us back in our yell with 33 to go this time. Morgan, Hocevar, Lapsevich, Lewis, Matthews, your top 5. Zach Nichols, Colton, Dalton Collins, Fletcher, Cordell, and Austin Johnson, your top 10. And boy, does this change some things, because things are looking like they were calming down for a rhythm. Now, that intensity level is likely pushing up from this point.
Oh, no doubt about it. The laps are winding down. We're going to be at about 30 laps to go when we get this thing back rolling under the green flag. And the racing is as good up front as we've seen all night long. Morgan, Hocevar, and Lapsevich are just putting on a classic show for us right now. And again, it's going to be about restarts. We saw throughout this weekend that Lapsevich was the best in the field, I think, Justin, at anybody at being able to get jumps. And I don't think we've had a driver who had more restarts under review because of how good they were, yet not one of them came back to where he jumped it so early. So now late in the going, more important than ever, Trayton Lapsevich going to have to just going to have to get another one of those great restarts to have a chance.
1 to go, 31 to go when we get back green. As Devin Morgan looking to hold on, he's led much of the middle portions of this race. Pace car is off. Ford on the bottom, Chevy on the top. To the restart zone, great flag once again.
And Lapsevich, not the great restart that he wanted that time, but for Morgan, it was good enough. Hocevar's going to stick to his outside. Is now Lapsevich, and Jackson Lewis is going to go around in front of the field. Big wreck. That's going to collect 5, 6, 7 cars here on the back straightaway. The caution flag is out, and that was Jackson Lewis. It looked like he got loose as he was side by side with Hocevar. He gets tagged from behind as they were trying to roll through the corner, and unfortunately Lewis is just parked dead sideways in front of the whole field, and a bunch of them get involved as they get thrown back into traffic.
Take a look at this, and yeah, wow. Just nowhere for the whole back half of the field to go. They were wrecking for a good 20 seconds.
Yeah, they were, and again, once you get thrown back in the traffic, there's only so much that you can do right there. And there, again, it's just a parking lot back here. We talked about on the front stretch, it's not much better on the back stretch, that you really only fit a couple of cars here before there's really just nowhere to go. You have to check up and hope that everybody around you just completely comes to a dead stop. But everybody's stacked up like that. I think we're not done with seeing those types of wrecks here, Justin, tonight, late going. I just don't think we're quite done with that yet.
Take a look. This is Travis Pryor. And
see, that's how you do it right there.
Yeah. Everybody else just got stuck together.
Well, obviously, a little bit of luck involved, but you can see Pryor slowed down well enough, and oh boy, did he do a nice job trying to drive through all of that. Keeps his car clean, or at least as clean as it was before that caution happened. So nice job there from Travis being able to maneuver through that one.
We'll have to see how this plays. 27 to go this time. This race is presented by Team 126 Racing. It's an eSport racing team on the iRacing service that specializes in race promotion, sponsorship, and event hosting. Dirt, asphalt, they race it all. Team 126 reminds you to always race clean and have fun. For more information, search for Team 126 Racing at Facebook. On Facebook, rather, today. To reset your top 10 after that one, Morgan, Hocevar, Trayden Lapsevich, Lewis, Matthews, Collins, Nichols, Johnson, Fletcher, and Jonathan Smith. Only 21 cars are still running. Of them, 19 are on the lead lap in what's been a crazy final 50 or 60 laps or so now.
It has been crazy, but it hasn't been without its great moments of action. Obviously, the battle up front has really been where all the magic's happened. Morgan, Hocevar, Lapsevich, all these guys up here, Ryan Matthews, Jackson Lewis, they have just put on an absolute show for us up here up front. It's kept our eyes and our attention the whole time, because as soon as the battle starts to settle out, well, that's when we get a yellow flag. We'd love to obviously cover everybody that's running back there for 8th, 9th, 10th. We know there's been a lot of battles back there all night long, but man, have they raced hard and raced for the lead. And that's exactly what the fans, so to speak, Justin, that's what they pay to see. And hopefully we're not done with that yet, as we're going to have about 24 laps to go. Lights go back on the pace car, so we'll get one more trip around. We had the one to go that last time, so we'll have 24 laps to go, as I believe this time lights will go out on that pace car, and indeed they do. We'll get one to go.
And the longest line penalty, by the way, to Zach Nichols with the caution flag. One to go again. I'd like to thank Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway, though, for their support for this event. A big part of what they have done for this event and the success that's been happening throughout this weekend. Also like to thank iRacing for their support as well for this event and being the platform for this special event. We're coming up to 24 laps to go. This has been a fireworks show the past few laps or so. Morgan and Hocevar will get one wait. Delayed yellow, delayed yellow, delayed yellow. They'll rebunch them. That's because Jackson Lewis is contesting the spot as the pace car decides to say hello in a unique way.
Well, actually, yeah, they're letting Jackson Lewis. He was involved in that wreck, and for some reason, he was just trying to get his spot back. But yeah, he was trying to restart here in the 4th position, and race control said, well, we haven't let anybody do that all night. We're not going to start here. So they're trying to sort it out and get Jackson Lewis under control. Of course, he was involved in that accident. He didn't bring it out, but you don't get to gain about 10 or 12 spots or so. Just go back and start where you initially spun out there.
Let's try this again. 23 to go. We're back off and away. Morgan, good launch. Top 5 all scrapping for the race lead.
And they're doing it with Morgan on the bottom side. He checked up that inside just a little bit. That's going to allow Hocevar a little bit of run off at 2. And Lapsevich gets a shot from behind. What a great save as Ryan Matthews gave the 32 a nice little bump. Getting into 1 and 2, we'll see if the favor is repaid. Matthews trying to dig on the bottom. Morgan able to scurry away.
This is exactly what Devin Morgan needed to build the cushion now. More contact as Trey Lapsevich trying to dive it into Matthews' door. Big save as Matthews just about clear for second.
Oh boy, it's getting dicey up here for second spot. Ryan Matthews and Trayden Lapsevich. And, you know, honestly, Lapsevich got a nice little shot. We'll see if he repays the favor to Matthews, who just really barreled into 3 into him just a couple of laps ago. But right now, they are racing so hard, Justin. They're allowing Morgan to continue to pull away. It was 0.2 of a second that last time. That leader is gone, and he is loving what he is seeing in his mirror.
Still not able to clear on by is Trey Lapsevich in all of this. And by the way, with a comp yellow, the word stops for Travis Pryor. Albert Cordell with that yellow flag. Moving through the field now, as well as Alex McCollum, who is now on some of the freshest tires on the track from the previous yellow before that. He's now back on the prowl. He's up now to P6.
Up to P6, but I just don't know if you're going to have enough laps to get it done. 18 laps to go, and they are still stacked up. Nobody can find a way around this battle for second. Oh, Matthews is going to slide. Hocevar is going to have to go low to make an evasive maneuver, so move Lapsevich into second. But oh boy, has he lost a ton of time to Morgan, who's made up about 8, 9, 10 car lengths on this battle for second.
McCollum thought about taking it 3 wide underneath Hocevar, along with Matthews in a 1 and 2. Now Dalton Collins joins the fun for Bobby Dale Legacy Esports. 2x2 again as the leader is checked out by 1.2 seconds. Lapsevich is now checked out for the rest of them by 0.3. Hocevar inside of Matthews again.
And McCollum's just trying to see which lane is going to prevail here. Obviously, he has the fresher tires. He knows he can prevail. He just needs an opening. He needs somebody to win this battle, and he's going to try to do it himself. Nearly gets in the back of Matthews there as they work off the corner, but he's just boxed in right now. Will he try to go to the top side 3 wide? He's going to give Matthews another shove. That's going to check him up, and they're going to wreck. McCollum is up and over here on the back straightaway, and several cars are rolling here as McCollum got into the back of Matthews, rolling through the center. He gets hit by Hocevar, and a big stack up is also Hocevar is rolling here. A couple of others involved in it as well that eventually tag McCollum, and that, oh man, that changes everything. That is not what Devin Morgan wanted to see.
Take a look at the replay, and there's a little bit of a bump right in the middle of 1 and 2. On the front nose of McCollum to the back end of Matthews, and then Calamity.
That's exactly what happened. You could see McCollum, this next trip around, will come on the back straightaway, but you could see the speed he is able to carry through the center of the corner with those fresher tires. He gave Matthews a little shot right there, perhaps a little bit of contact, but he's just boxed in. He's trying to find a way to the high side of the 51 to try to use those fresh tires, and when he rolls in the center, you can see the contact right there is enough to send him down into Hocevar. Hocevar tags the 51, and that just sends McCollum right into the outside wall. They're going to tag Hocevar right there. They're going to give him an interlogous line penalty, but obviously he was kind of flipping in that one, so not sure if that's going to matter all too much right there. But again, that was caused by those fresh tires. McCollum knew he had to get moving and moving quickly to have a chance to potentially run down Morgan, so he couldn't afford to wait for Matthews in front of him.
Absolute pandemonium as Tommy Kelly also involved in getting hit hard on the front right and part of the nose, and smashed in the front toe just about on that machine. Also involved in the incident there, I believe we've seen over Cordell getting some more damage. Massive, massive incident once more, and now this puts us with a restart with under 10 laps to go when we get back in our way. And the fireworks may go off between Morgan and Lapsevich. Here's a look at this again.
You got to think it's not just those drivers that were battling for the lead, but several more trying to avoid all those guys. They get tagged in it as well. Obviously, onboard shot here, you'll see what Oliver Cordell saw out of his windshield as he comes off the corner. He just sees cars flipping. He's probably freaking out right now, and he'll just actually punt the 14, who kind of just lands on top of his race car. It looks like he's able to get through there relatively unscathed, but oh man, Justin, you know, you see a lot of things on corner exit. It's usually the wall here at Nashville, but you don't usually see somebody who's flipping against it. And oh boy, what chaos did he drive upon when he left turn 2.
10 to go this time for the All-American eSports 400, and what a past 3 days it's been. Trayden Lapsevich has been the winner of 4 of the 6 feature races. He's now got a shot on trying to go what could be a near perfect 5 for 7. His worst finish is second. He's in P2 alongside Devin Morgan, who's looking for yet another major short track victory win in his career. Likely may have a delay here because Carson Hocevar has to let the whole field go here, or at the very least stopped in front of the field, so this is going to have to be sorted out maybe. Believe we may actually go green here with 9 to go. Yes, indeed. No signal for the lights for the top of the pace car. Morgan on the inside, Lapsevich on the outside. Hit from Dalton Collins from behind, back on her way. Check from about row 3 on back on the top.
And it looks like Morgan able to get a good launch, but so does Lapsevich as they're going to go door to door here. Lapsevich able to hang on his right rear quarter panel on the outside. They're going to be door to door. Morgan with the drive on the bottom, but here comes Lapsevich up the top. He's not going to give it up. They nearly make contact. Lapsevich scrapes the wall, but they are just inches off of each other, battling hard for the lead with 8 laps to go.
No give or take. With money on the line, with pride on the line, with victories on the line. Dalton Collins watches from P3 as Morgan clears by out of turn 3 and 4. Back single file as Trayden Lapsevich dives into the bottom. Clipping the apron is Morgan though. Lapsevich checks him up. Here comes Trayden Lapsevich side by side. Back underneath the corner panel for Morgan as the caution is out. Down the back stretch, Dylan Bates.
Oh man, and Lapsevich, I'm sure, is not a very happy driver right there. It looked like that was his opportunity to try and pass Morgan, who finally showed at least one weakness all night. And you're going to see exactly what happened here. Somebody getting into the apron right there causes a big stack up. Bates is going to go in the middle 3 wide. And it looks like, not sure if the 44 drifts up there a little bit, but oh man, we have another car. We've seen a lot of flips tonight here at the virtual Nashville Fairgrounds, and unfortunately he goes around. He's able to get it going quickly, but not before the caution flag is brought out. And again, at the time of caution, Morgan was ahead, and Justin, I don't think that Lapsevich wanted to see that. He had his opportunity in front of him to try and work on the bottom, where Morgan has been so strong all night to try and get that lead.
Zach Nichols, end of the longest line penalty for the caution flag. As now, this puts us near GWC territory, if in it. So this is about to get really interesting in this one. Apologies for the radio, by the way, between your top 2. After some tightness in the corner, as mentioned, with Morgan clipping the apron into near contact between your top 2 runners. This event presented by Paradigm Racing. The days of worrying about your team's marketing are over. Let the Paradigm take the lead, allowing you to focus on one thing: winning. Paradigm Racing is your source for everything from sponsorship proposals to race day photography and social media, which allows you to focus on getting to victory lane. Paradigm Racing will make sure you look good when you get there. For more information, visit ParadigmOnline.net today. Coming up to 3 laps to go when we get back racing here on Podium eSports. We'll take a very quick side-by-side when the final restarts the race, if not the last one, after this.
At Maconi Setup Shop, we offer custom-built setups for any asphalt oval car. Prices starting at just $5. Weekly setups available for all Legends, late models, modifieds, and NASCAR trucks, Xfinity, and Cup cars. Do you need one-on-one driver coaching? We've got you covered. Visit www.MaconiSetupShop.com and find yourself in Victory Lane. Maconi Setup Shop, handling all your setup needs so you don't have to.
Coming up to one to go this time by for the All-American eSports 400 in the super late model feature race. Justin Prince, Blake McCann was with you, producer Ryan Bauer in that seat, powered by Top Flight PC. And the question's going to be at the end of this one, who takes home the checkered flag? Because guess what? We're in the closing stages of this one. Oh boy, no GWC. That means a one-lap shootout to decide it, Blake. Oh boy.
Oh my goodness, it's going to come down to one last trip on it. Lapsevich is going to have to be ultra aggressive on this restart. You may even just jump it a little bit because, again, what do you have to lose? You're trying to win this race. Second place is no good. Look for Lapsevich to be super aggressive on this restart. And obviously, remember, these two were bumping earlier. Do we see it again?
Last night, the pro late model race came down to a second green-white checker. Tonight, the super late models come down to a one-lap shootout. Final lap of the All-American eSports 400. Morgan still can't get clear in turn 1 and 2. Trey and Lapsevich hooking around. Side by side for the race win. Dalton Collins sends him. Slides up Morgan. 3 wide out of the corner. Dalton Collins. Drag race. Squeezed up. Checker flag. Believe it might have been Collins. They crash as Dalton Collins wins the All-American eSports 400 super late model feature.
And that is exactly right. Dalton Collins by 7/1000ths of a second puts him to the back of the 112, moves him out of the way, goes 3 wide, and it looked like the contact between Morgan and Lapsevich was just enough, where at the line, Collins was just a nose ahead. What a finish.
Let's take a look at this one. First, you have Dalton Collins. He's seen his shot and he took it. And then this.
And you see it right there. They're side by side. Morgan has it at this point, but he squeezes Lapsevich up into the wall. Not sure if he expected him to be there or not, but that lost momentum. You could see Morgan has a nose. He has the high line. He has the momentum right here, but you see that squeeze into the wall. That's just enough for Collins to squeeze on by in an epic photo finish.
And if Morgan wasn't as high, you'd have to argue he doesn't squeeze Lapsevich there. Morgan might have been the one who won it. That lost him momentum on the top line.
Well, I think, honestly, you look in that last corner, I thought Lapsevich was going to be in a perfect position to be able to win that race 3 wide. I feel like you have to favor the top side right there. But unfortunately, Collins was just able to get through the bottom so well. Morgan is running the middle, but just squeezes Lapsevich up into the wall. And again, just that contact was enough to slow him down. I mean, just 50 feet, 100 feet before the line, Justin, I think it's Morgan's race, but he was just slow enough after that contact with Lapsevich that, again, by 7/1000ths, you'll read it 8/1000ths on your screen, rounded up. But he is just able to nose him out. And Collins, who, again, just was in the right place at the right time and put the bumper to the back of him, and he wins.
Again, it's Dalton Collins, your race winner, and what was a crazy, crazy finish. Devin Morgan, Austin Johnson steals the 3rd spot in all the carnage. But Trey Lapsevich unofficially 4th. Dawson Fletcher, Joseph McWhorter, Oliver Cordell, Trevor Edwards, Tommy Kelly, and Jackson Lewis round out the top 10. My goodness.
Jake Sylvia finishes up in the 11th position. 12th will go to Travis Pryor. 13th running spot goes to Zach Nichols. 14th to Brandon Hughes. 15th finisher was Dylan Bates. 16th, after being involved late there with those fresh tires, was Alex McCollum. 17 was Carson Hosevar. 18th was Craig Arvanitis. 19th to Jonathan Smith. Robert Duria, 4 laps down, finishes up in 20th.
21st spot, Kadeli, Matthews, Gucker, Wright, Eddie, Bellini, Pataki, Kane, Kozik, Nagy rather. Your top 30 also out of the race were Pembleton, Murray, and Roper. Palmer and Hale are going to have a busy one after this one. What a finish. A finish to remember.
Again, if this doesn't convince you to buy a ticket next weekend, I just don't know what to tell you, Justin. I don't know how we could ask for much more. A one-lap shootout, and the driver in third is able to make it 3 wide to the end to win the race. What an incredible show.
Take a step aside. We come back. Post-race coverage. You're watching the All-American Esports 400 from the virtual Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway. You're watching Podium Esports.
Attention race fans, it's the biggest show of the year, Friday through Sunday, October 30th through November 1st at Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway. 6 fast-paced divisions of racing on the quarter mile Friday night, whole qualifying and 4 big feature events Saturday night, and the 36 All-American 400 on Sunday afternoon. Racing starts at 7 Friday, 5:30 Saturday, and 1 o'clock Sunday. Tickets available at Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway.racing or at the gate on race day. The 36 All-American 400 weekend, Friday, October 30th through Sunday, November 1st.
Model feature for the All-American eSports 400. Justin Prince, Blake McCann was with you, Ryan Bauer in the director's seat, and man, oh man, was this a race to remember. It comes down to the final corner on the final lap in a one-lap shootout. In the end, it is Dalton Collins by 7th 1,000th of a second taking the victory. Dalton, how are you feeling?
Man, you know, I've been coming to this racetrack in real life since I was 5 or 6 years old, man. And my dad's raced here, my grandfather's raced here, my uncle's raced here. It's kind of been a family tradition. And man, just pretty much growing up in those grandstands and watching people like Sterling Marlin and William Hale who put this on, and people like Dylan Fetcho and just the local guys, and watching people come down like Bubba Pollard and Stephen Nasty come down and want to be a part of the history of this track. And I'm still at a loss for words from the weekend I've had, from being on the pole in the Legends race, giving that one away, I felt like, and the street stock race, I wanted that one back probably the most out of all of them, and the front runner race, I kind of wanted that one, for my own personal pride, because my dad, my uncle, and my grandfather raced in the front runner division here. And I'm sitting here shaking right now. I was screaming once I found out I won, and when we crossed the checkered, man, I am speechless right now. This is, I'm a huge fan of short track racing. I love super late models, especially the super late model ranks. And man, this is, I don't have a snowball derby on here, like Brandon Wilkinson or people like Ryan Kuhn. I don't have that signature win, and I finally got one today. And I did what I had to do. And Devin ain't happy, but I don't really care. But it's my home track. I had to get it. It was there for the taking, and I took it. So man, just unbelievable. Thank you to everybody. I'm absolutely speechless.
Your teammates are losing their minds still, I think, still as well, because they know how much you love this facility, as you said, and love the short tracks. Overall, how would you describe this event overall? You compete in every single event for the most part throughout the past 3 days. Your feelings overall on the All-American eSports 400 this weekend?
Yeah, I mean, I take great pride in running a lot of races through the year. I think last year alone I had over 1,000 races, plus the dirt races and official. Not counting the league races. I love taking part of in these events, and to be so close all weekend to getting a win on All-American eSports 400 weekend. I wanted at least one here, and the wait was worth it. Finally got that signature win, and it could not have come at a better place. The snowball derby in real life, that's the Daytona 500 for the short tracks. But to me, this track is literally 50-60 miles from where I'm standing, and this is the biggest one to me, and I'm so honored that I was able to get there to the checkered flag first.
Who do you have to thank for your run tonight to become the winner of the super late model feature in this prestigious event?
First off, William Hale. Without this, we wouldn't have, we wouldn't be having this conversation. So, big thanks to him. You guys, Podium eSports. I follow you guys a lot on my support page when y'all do y'all's short track stuff, and I keep up with y'all quite a bit. Boyd Hogan, Legacy Sports. JH Graphics with Jacob Hefner, Trayton Lapsovich, all the legacy guys, Abruzzi, Butt Kicker, Bobby Dillonhart. Shout out to Cale Gale for helping us out on the sets every week on the big car side, and thanks to my dad. Shout out to him. I don't even know if he's seen this yet. He might be asleep. But shout out to him, my uncle, my grandfather, everybody that's took me to this racetrack and introduced this facility to me as a kid, and what it's meant to me over the years. It's really an honor to get a win here, and even though it's not the real life thing, esports is, the sky's the limit with it, and I'm going to remember this for a long, long time. This is, it was $150 to win, but I don't really care about that. Just to have this on my resume as a signature win is truly it's just unbelievable, man. I've tried so hard to be better, and I was there when it counted, and I definitely made it count.
By the way, I got a message from you from one of the NASCAR Heat Pro drivers from Team Penske Esports. Tedeschi says he'll give you a free beer if you stop by the spotter stand. Congrats on the victory.
I will for sure shotgun a beer with him, but thank you very much. Thank you to everybody. I am definitely celebrating tonight. This is I'm going to be up all night. This is great. I really appreciate you guys.
Congratulations on what is the biggest win in a while for you. Congrats, Dalton.
Thank you very much.
Dalton Collins, your race winner tonight. What a finish to this one. Devin Morgan, just 7 1/1000ths of a second behind in a drag race. 3 wide coming out of turn 4. He's with Blake.
Well, Devin, I don't know what to ask you other than, you have a chance there at the end, and just kind of walk us through that last set of corners from your perspective.
Yeah, you really just can't race with these guys. There's a reason why they're banned by most of the good leagues, because, them leagues don't allow crappy driving like they do. They just want to hold it wide open in the last corner and send you 3 lanes up the racetrack. It's ridiculous, and then claim that's how they do it in real life. Which it isn't, but it is what it is. What happens with these fixed races that only pay money to the winner. Everyone just goes out there and junks each other. That's why I don't really venture out anywhere outside of Sarah, because they're the best that there is, and everything else is pretty much a joke.
Well, we saw a little bit of contact there early on, and I know that, you and Lapsevich, maybe didn't see eye to eye throughout the entire race, but there was a fine line there. Y'all kind of bumped each other. You gave each other a little bit, of what you thought the other driver gave you, but you moved on from it from that. Is that kind of the, obviously the approach that you want to take?
Yeah, for sure. I felt like Train kind of cut my nose off that one time, and I didn't mean to get into him and send him at the racetrack, and I passed him, and he did the same to me, and we were even at that point, and I just let it go and rode his bumper, and we raced hard, and then right before that last yellow there, he got into my left rear, pushed me out of the groove, like you would in real life, super clean, couldn't have done it cleaner, and I gotta thank him and much respect to him for that, because he could have went off in there and full throttled me, which, to be honest, if he was in line the last corner, I wouldn't say he'd do anything different than what Dalton did, but he did me all right there, so I gotta thank him.
Well, no disappointed for second, but I know you got a lot of people to thank out there. Obviously, still a really strong run tonight, and that 112 Mustang was one of the best, if not the best in the field throughout the night. But I know you got a lot of partners on there to give a shout out to.
Yeah, I gotta thank my mom, my dad, BKBR, NPM Marketing, Wiley X Classes, Jiffy Lube, Buffalo Bar and Grill, Innovative Manufacturing Design, Superior Grading, Elite Cars LLC, Matt Morgan Motors, Upper Lower Class Automotive, Francis Marion Tire and Brake. I gotta thank William Hill for putting this on, and just want to say maybe we can find another race director for the next one.
Devin Morgan, he brings it home P2 and just 7 1/1000ths of a second behind, and comes up just short, but we had somebody else. He brings it home third, kind of worked his way through all that chaos. Austin Johnson has caught up with Justin Prince.
Another podium finish for you, Austin, and I'm not sure if you expected this one. Talk us through that final lap.
I did not expect this at all, to be honest. I mean, I know starting P5 was higher than I could have even imagined, really, with this competition in this race, but the last couple laps and surviving all the wrecks that I narrowly missed, I won't lie, I had some luck today.
How would you say your car drove today? Because it seemed like you were back and forth from the back of the field to the front of the field to the back of the field to the front of the field, in part with strategy, but as well with just the way the race flowed.
Yeah, I felt like I was a solid 6th place car right behind Dalton. That's where I rode for most of the race. It felt like I followed a lot of people through. When I pitted with Zach early for fuel, I was expecting a little more than just me and him and some guys behind, but we stayed with it and didn't get wrecked like I was hoping, and we got 3rd somehow.
Overall, how does this all mean to you to finish off the weekend with a podium and some strong runs to put you in the spotlight?
This is great. I mean, I just recently became a free agent with stuff happening at my old team, and this is the best thing I could have done ever since that happened, and it's a good weekend. I know I had a lot of struggles early, but to have 3rd place last night and 3rd again today, and especially this one, this is a lot more competition compared to last night. It feels amazing.
Overall, who do you have to thank for your run tonight, especially the podium to end off everything that blue and black, or that blue, white, and black machine rather?
Well, obviously, William, this is a really fun event, even though, it doesn't really pay as much as everyone maybe thought it would have, but it's still a lot of fun even without it. I was talking to Jake and Hector, and they were helping me through that, and my dad for helping me pay for this, and Johnson Graphics, and you guys for especially broadcasting this. It's a lot of fun.
Congratulations to the podium tonight.
Thank you.
Austin Johnson, P3 tonight. An interesting one, and want to bring in your race control and organizer for tonight, William Hale. William, first things first. How are you feeling after all the stress now comes out and finishes with this finish?
Relieved. Mostly relieved. I don't know if anybody watched the finishes, but it was probably one of the better finishes to any super late model race on iRacing of the year. And if you don't like it, I guess you need to go wind your way back into a NASCAR race or something on iRacing, and where they don't touch each other. That was some certified short track racing right there, and that was awesome. Congrats to Dalton Collins on the win. That was one of the cleanest bump and runs I've seen all year, so I don't know what everybody's whining about. It was awesome from my perspective. It was one of the best races I've seen super late model wise. A couple things on my end wasn't where they needed to be, and I apologize to who I needed to apologize. I feel like from a promoter standpoint, and other than that, it worked really well. You guys did a great job all night as well. I cannot thank you guys enough for being here. Team 126 for coming on board for the super late model race was a big help. I cannot thank Jeffrey, Eddie, and everybody enough. The racetrack themselves, through all the help and everything, helping me get this event promoted, and them backing it 100% and being behind it. I hope we did well for you guys. And wow, iRacing for putting my hometown track on the service and allowing us to even do this in the first place. That was the big deal. And yeah, it was the race was good. So if you're asking how I'm feeling relieved for the most part.
Now, for the future of not just the event, but of course the sanctioning body that started off everything too, the Southeastern Sim Racing Association. What does the future look like for the All-American eSports 400 and for the SSA or the SCA or whatever the acronym is?
Well, it's C, man. Just think of the C. There's a couple of them, big bodies of water. That's the easiest way to remember it, Justin. What we're going to do is we're going to take some guys that actually like short track racing, where you can throw bumpers and doors with each other and actually race, instead of crying when you get thrown a bumper. That's not the kind of organization we are. In the future, we're going to have really good short track races. That's our main focus. And, if you throw a bumper to somebody, you throw a door to somebody, last lap you go in and nudge them up. That is short track racing, and I loved it. I hope the fans loved it. It was good, and we got a couple things to iron out before we start doing more and more shows. But I think all in all, we're gonna be just fine doing our short track show. We got we got a monthly series with the Fairgrounds on the rise. We got a national touring per se type deal super late model series that we're going to start running in 2021, and a couple other bigger events that we're focusing on going into 2021 as well. Just we got a lot going on. We're constantly learning, we're constantly getting better, and we're going to take it one day at a time and try to make it better for you fans and make it better for everybody involved each time we hit the racetrack.
Anything else you'd like to add before we let you go?
I mean, I cannot thank everybody enough. From even the drivers, the drivers did a fantastic job all weekend. We had a couple of hiccups here and there, but all in all, it went really well. And without them, really, we can't even put this show on. So we have to remember that they're the people that put this race on for us at the end of the day. And every driver that took the racetrack this weekend, I thank you from the bottom of my heart for helping me put this race together and for taking time out of your lives to come run this race. We were taking entries literally up until the LCQ started, and I cannot thank those guys enough. I cannot thank the racetrack enough. You guys, of course, you guys did a phenomenal job. I'm thanking a lot of people here, but there's a lot of people to thank because there's a lot of work that went into this that a lot of people don't see. And everybody that put this event together, like I said, Team 126 and Jeffrey Eddy did a great job stepping up for us to sponsor the purse for the super late model race. I know some guys didn't think it was enough, and we're working on it. We're hoping to get a little bit better for these racers that put this show on for us and make it worth their while to come out here and run with us each week. I love short track racing. I love my racetrack, of course. That's why we're doing this, but I do love short track racing, and this weekend showed what short track racing can be, and especially tonight. Short track super late model racing, both in the real world and in iRacing, can be some of the best racing on the service, no matter who thinks otherwise. And we will be a very good series moving forward. We're going to fix our hiccups. And just so you guys know, 36th annual All-American is next weekend. You get the real version of this. It's going to be one freaking awesome show. You guys should definitely look into coming to Nashville next weekend.
Thank you very much for the time, William. Congrats on a well-organized and successful event this weekend.
Thank you, Justin. Thank you guys so much again.
William Hale, your event promoter and organizer for the Southeastern Esports Association. And Blake, want to turn to you first because crazy finish. A lot of tempers flared, but the main thing is, in between, of course, the strong emotions from Devin Morgan, the main thing I picked up on is the aberration that he still had with the battle with Traden Lapsevich and the fight that he had between the two of them. And I feel Traden Lapsevich would say the same if he had the chance, at least in some part. Because while you may hate somebody, while you may be upset with somebody, the one main thing is to tell that you're at least a smart racer, or at the very least know how to comprehend situations such as this is. You know how to find some of the positives and the negatives, as in you may have a lot of negatives in your mind, but you can also pick up positives from that specific driver.
I think you're right on that. And again, it's a difference. And, obviously I don't think that's a move that Colin makes or Dalton Collins makes if it's 5 laps to go, but like William was saying, that it's short track racing, it's 1 lap to go, and as far as bumper runs go, I think it could be pretty clean. I can't say if I wasn't in Devin Morgan's seat that I wouldn't be just as frustrated as him, because obviously until you put the helmet on, you can never really know, you can never really judge until you're put in that situation yourself on how you would react to it. So it's hard to sit up here from either perspective. You can't really say if you're Dalton Collins that maybe you wouldn't do the same thing. So the one thing it does do is it makes it really entertaining for us up in the booth to call it. It creates a lot of controversy out there for the fans, so they can make up their minds on what they would have done and whatnot. But at the end of the day, the checker flag's out, one driver gets to the line first, and they're called the winner. And Dalton Collins, he wanted to be the first guy up to the pay window, so he did what he had to do. And even with the bump, Morgan still had a chance, but just made contact with Lapsevich, and honestly, that's what really cost him the race. So a lot to take out from that last finish, but it's fun, and that's what short track racing is all about.
I take this time now to thank everyone for tuning in throughout this weekend for the All-American Esports 400, as well Let's thank the facility, Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway, for their support of this big event. Without the help of them and from the platform of iRacing, as well as from William Hale and the rest of the organizing crew, there's a lot that happened as part of the organization's part. Also like to thank the sponsors involved with this event once again in Team 126 Racing, Paradigm Racing, and Maconi Setup Shop for their support of this weekend and this event throughout the past few days. Coming up on Podium eSports on October the 26th, yes, that is tomorrow evening, is the Sim 500 Trans Service Cup Series as they visit the virtual Texas Motor Speedway. That will take place at 9 p.m. Eastern Time on twitch.tv/Podium eSports. Then, the same facility will host the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series with one more chance to lock yourself in to the postseason. Not just that, but to the Final Four for a chance to fight for a title at Homestead. That will start at 9 p.m. Eastern Time on October 27th on iRacing's Twitch, Facebook, and YouTube platforms. Then, on Wednesday, it's time for some short track racing at the Paperclip as the Esports Racing League, presented by SimSeats, goes racing at Martinsville. That'll start at approximately 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time on October 28th. See that live at twitch.tv/ERL Racing. And don't forget, the Cars Esport Tour finale is coming up at this facility in just a couple days as well. With that, it's time to say goodbye. We'd like to thank everyone once again for tuning in throughout the past 3 days for what's been an exciting event. For James Pike, for Cisco Scaramouza, for Gary Sexton and John Theodore at Podium eSports, for my broadcast partner Blake McCandless, and for producer Ryan Bauer, as well as Day One's producer Zach Johnson, I'm Justin Prince. Thank you so much for watching tonight's action, and have a good rest of your evening.
So what are you afraid of? Those feelings are made up. Get in the game, your moment of fame, show them what you made of. It's time that we stand up. It's time that we man up. For anyone asking who is the best, we putting our hands up. My time, nothing can keep me from reaching the top. This time, like the last time, I'm moving so fast, I'm ready to throw down. It's time for the showdown. I'm ready to rise, don't be surprised, I'll take on the world now.